Welcome, welcome, welcome. Grand Rising for the Rising Show with Empress Ella G. I am just so overjoyed to be here, and we were so prepared as far as not sliding in home plate at the last minute, you know, and I really didn't get much sleep. I did so much this morning, and I did so much last night, but I'm happy to be here. It's not going to stop the flow of energy. We never have anything scripted. We're just going to flow. And Empress Ella G is right here for her show, and I'm here to support her. And I just want to find out, even though I already know it, but we have to front like we just asking, right? Like, how are you doing? Even though we talked before the show, be honest, really, right? Before effect.
I know. Listen, you got to do what you got to do. Grand Rising, Brother Lance. Grand Rising. Yes. Grand Rising, everyone. How are you? I've been up. I've been awake. You know, it's Friday. What is it? It's not Friday. It's Thursday. Oh, gosh.
Wait a second.
It's a Friday. It's Friday, right?
We've been knocking shows out, and you're losing track of time. That's what it is.
I am messed up.
No, but that it's not that you were traumatized or anything. That's a good kind of messed up. When you that means you're living out of the artificial construct of time. And sometimes when we do repetitious things, sometimes, and then like, okay, we kind of forget. That's not a bad thing. That's a good thing when you slip out of that construct. Like it's like this. You know how I knew when I was in America,
sure. Yes, right.
and driving the bus and working in the jail or whatever it may be. You know how I knew I was really on top of my budget? You know how I knew? Because I forgot what day payday was. Meaning that I had everything come out automatically. And, you know, Mr. Scurv would go in there and whatever she had to do. But I'm like, is today payday? Because I was not some rich guy, but it was that everything I knew was covered. And I just worked. Right. And I lived in a way where I didn't focus on those things. I made sure, you know, she'd peek on it more, but it was just flowing. So I knew I was on when you don't pay things the mind that many others do, because not that they are less than you or don't think, but when you're on a flow, everything goes so smoothly and you don't worry. It's like when I would head over to work, which wasn't too far, and even when I would drive that bus, it was where I knew how the lights flowed. Right. So I knew if I was on a certain time, provided there was no emergency, right, it would flow, and I was one with everything. And I would do 2 or 3 round trips, and each round trip was 3 hours with the breaks. It wasn't like I was so far, 3 hours of driving going far, but with the stopping and the starting, and you had a 30-minute layover at the end, and then you had a layover here, different time points. It was a 3-hour round trip, and I did 3 of one route and another route that was different that pulled me up to 11 hours. So there were lots of times when I didn't wake up. Now I'm awake, and I'm awake, but I didn't come out of the zone of that inner peace until maybe the end of the second route, which was 6 hours into my day. Wow. There were some days that I would do the whole day in a zone. You know, kids jump in front of you, you hit the brakes. It wasn't like zoned out, I'm going to run over somebody. You people just laughing. I was just in so much peace from within that I'm saying to myself, wait a second. This is my final day before the next 3 days that I have off. I didn't feel this day. What happened? Now, I'm not complaining, but that's the zone you want to be in. Right. You know what you have to do. You do it. And you don't have to put 100% energy into it. You can put 15 and it still
And
goes
it still
effective.
goes.
It's like when
Exactly.
you hit the ball and you just have to tap it to keep it rolling, to keep the momentum going. So my
Exactly.
existence was so where now I had so much life force at the end of a long day, and I avoided confrontations with confrontational passengers, or when I was in the jail, confrontational so-called inmates. It didn't take away my charge.
Right.
Meaning, like I always say, the analogy, you leave out of your house, hopefully 100% like a cell phone. And granted, you know you're going to come back with maybe a little less. But when you had a really draining day, you come back low, and you don't want that. So you perfect how you navigate through your day by saying, you know what, that confrontation or that way I dealt with things pulled too much from the 100%. So let me be very efficient with my life force. And many of us don't think about that. So I didn't get much physical sleep overnight.
Right.
I was so overjoyed in my heart with things that are right in front of me and things that I'm doing that I said, well, we're already at the end of the week with the morning show, and we made it through, but we enjoyed each one.
Yes, we did. Yes,
and I look forward to this one to the point where I don't feel fatigue right now. I mean, I can feel a little bit around my eyes on the inside, you know, your eyeballs, whatever, but I'm closing my eyes. I don't have to keep my eyes open. I can talk with my eyes closed. You know what I mean?
That's true. Who's going to know?
Yeah, I'm going to take a big fat nap after this. Wake up. We're going to do some stuff. And I will say at the very beginning of this show,
yes,
we haven't made a time for it, but it's locked in, y'all. It's locked in. It's a show, and I'm not going to tell you how long it is, but it's way longer than 2 hours. I'll say that.
It's good.
And I'll let you tell everybody who we did the show with. Go ahead.
We did a fabulous show with Sister Danina yesterday. Oh my gracious. Oh, yes. Y'all are gonna love it. Y'all are gonna be sitting there when it's over. You're gonna be listen. I'm not even gonna spill the beans, but
but we can kind of spill the beans because this is what we're gonna do. I found out with this particular program we use that with recorded video, the file can only be 2 hours tops.
Right.
And since our conversation was way over 2 hours, I can't upload it on the program. So I'm going to have to allow it to play premiered. And then we will come in right after live. See, we wanted to just come right on in on the same show, but we weren't able to do that because of those restrictions. So we're not going to say how long it is, but it's finished already. It's done. It's just ready for me to go and speak with Danina and say, what time do you want to have us put it up? Because only we know how long it is. And if she says, well, do it this time because I got this to do, we'll do it that way. But we'll have a separate show that we
immediately after. Like 10 seconds.
Exactly. I'm going to have it set up.
Yeah.
I'm going to have it set up and we'll be on it waiting for the premiere broadcast, you know, which is not live, but you might as well say, because we're going to be right there coming on right after. And then she wants to really do this. We went in deep. And the reason why we recorded it because of the content and the truth that she shares so deep. We always had problems with the buffering. All of a sudden, we just had these problems with the internet. So we can have problems with the internet, but it's not going to stop YouTube from broadcasting a clear signal to everybody.
Exactly.
That's what we wanted.
Exactly.
So the audio, I'll tell you, the audio was dope. It came out clear, powerful. I tweaked it. Man, that show is what I'm talking smack, and I don't do that. That's one of our most intense shows. And you know how Danina talks. There's no interruptions, and it's straight up raw. And she took this places like I was like, oh my God. I can't believe she said that. I learned so much. So we're not just going to take the morning show to talk about that, but we had to tell. That's because we want
you to look forward to it. We want y'all to be anticipate. If this is that, what was that? Anticipation. I can't sing. I wish I could sing, you know. And my dear buddy AR 15, 16, 17 is in the chat, so I can't even sing. He's gonna tell me what I sound like.
I don't know. I mean, we can tease a little bit, right?
You know the song Anticipation.
I think we can play, like we're not on that original computer that does it, but I think I can still emulate that. Maybe we can play like 90 seconds just to tease them. You think?
Oh,
If they can hear it?
we could do that.
Okay, let me know if you can hear this because I'm on a different computer now than the original one that makes all that noise, right? So I'm just going to click this. It's basically probably going to start in the beginning, but I don't want it to. Okay, what is this now?
Right.
Oh, I'm going to have to. Okay, I think this is it coming.
Well, I hope it works.
Oh no, it'll work. It'll work. No, it'll work for YouTube. But I'm gonna pull it fast.
I just heard it. I
know. I didn't want to start from the beginning.
Okay.
And I didn't want to start from the beginning, so I did it this way. So let me go deep into the show and just see wherever it is, and I want everybody to hear it. Let me know if you can hear it good.
Yeah. How are you going to be powering the reality? What would they put you for if you're not going to power it? Just like they thought they were going to do me. They thought you was going to have a Titan spirit in here to be dumbfounded. And you thought you were going to lower mountain. Oh, no, the hell you not, honey. Oh, no, you not. Not to this one, you're not. Because I made sure that I was going to find out everything.
But you know what? You have to consider yourself one of the lucky ones. You and even Lance. Because you came through beings who allowed you to be who
I'm gonna move it a little bit just for another 15 seconds. I'm loving this show.
In the Bible, he tells you that I'm a jealous God, meaning he wants everything about him, and that was the same story about Yakub too and Jesus. He wanted everyone to praise him.
Okay, that's it. I ain't gonna do no more because we just gonna end up playing the whole show. Man, you all gotta be here for that one. So, like I said, the final thing is to call Danina later on and say what time we're gonna put it on because she wants to be there in the chat room, watching the chat room, and afterward coming on live. So we're gonna have a good time tonight. It's gonna be a long one. It's gonna be a one. And then we're going to come on in for anybody who wants to ask her questions or just vibe or just leave. So it works out.
Get your popcorn, get your beer. For those of you who drink beer, get your glass of wine for your Friday night happy hour wind down. Get your soda, get your water, get your sandwich, get whatever it is that you want to get. Listen, let me just say a quick hello to everyone.
Yeah, go ahead.
I can't even pronounce this last person. Sippy Way 542. Hey, Grand Rising, everyone. Probably. Hi, Indigo King. Hi, Sister Synovia. How you doing? Indigo King is just chatting up a storm. Don't you know I got to scroll up, buddy? I got to scroll. Hi, God Created Black. Hi, Superman Heru. Hi, Melissa Z. Yvonne, Alexander, AR, I hope you're still here. How you doing? Hi, Green Goddess. Yeah, Iams. I don't know why I'm having...
You got the verbal brain fart.
Yes, I do. Hi, Iams. How you doing? Eileen, Grand Rising, such a wonderful journey. How are you? Romy Rome, #1 in the chat, aside from me. Grand Rising, everyone. Peace and love and blessings to you on this lovely Friday. Tina, hi. Zulu Nation, Angela. Hello. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed, Brother Lance. Let's do the do.
We were speaking last night, between us about a certain aspect of.
Hold on, TT Brew is here. I haven't seen her in so long. How you doing? Hello, wow. And Muriel. Hello.
Yes, Queen Marat Rogers. You better do some more
Queen Marat.
More superstars coming up in here this morning.
Yes. Gosh. Just know that I'm saying hi to you all. Everyone who's even entering now. I'm saying hello. Queen Irie. Oh my God. We are just, listen guys, come on in. The water is lovely. Hey, Bird's Nest, how you doing? Just know that I'm saying hi to everyone, even if you come in, after I've stopped, because we won't have a show if I say hello to everybody. So just know that I'm saying hi.
Real.
Yes. Okay, Brother Lance, take it away, my guest.
Right. Well, basically, we were speaking about some of the things that are going on a decadent level.
Yes.
In Hollywood, in the world, in society. Hence the title of the show. We've embraced the oppressor's decadence as normalcy, and it's wiping us out. And you would always hear elders, aunts, and grandmothers say, the world going to hell. And we following right on behind what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Those who have transitioned on could never understand or could never embrace how far this thing went.
I know.
You know what I mean? I mean, they talked about it on the little things that they saw with a trajectory of knowing that, well, it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that they would have thought that it got this bad.
Exactly.
Now, I put a picture of this actor, and I keep forgetting his name, but I know him well. He was the one a few years ago who went up on the award show and wore a tuxedo dress.
Yes.
Of course, I had called Judge Joe Brown when that happened. I was actually working that night, driving the bus, and it was my last run, but I had a 3-minute layover. I called him real quick and told him, listen, please, I know you know what's happening with this story, and I know how you feel about black manhood.
Billy Porter. Thanks, Melissa.
Billy Porter. Yes, Billy Porter. Look at that. Put pictures of him up and don't even know his name. Thank you, Melissa Z. So he said, yeah, I'm right on it, and I'm going to give you some good stuff to put up on your channel. So I told him, I said, okay, I can't talk to you while I'm on the phone. I can't have the phone in my hand while I drive the bus. I'm going to record the audio. I'm putting it in my pocket. And when you're done, just hang up. Then I came home, dressed it up it was only like 13 minutes of how he talked, but it was a good hit. It was a good, because he went in on it. He was pissed. So don't take it now, for those who are watching, that this is an LGBTQ bashing show. And I'm not afraid to spank anybody who needs a spanking.
Right.
But it's on Billy Porter per se.
Right.
I put the visual up there because of the outfit that he had on. So don't make this a gay thing.
Right.
But if it was a gay thing, I would not be afraid to go in on it. Okay. So let's get that straight first for those in the future who watch this and put in the comments that, oh yes, you're gay. It's like anti-gay. You can thumbs it down all you want. But at the time I said, let me put up something that was universally known.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Because other things we got to talk about is not too popular, but it's happening. Right. And it has nothing to do with what somebody does behind closed doors or their preferences or what they want to do. That's not what this show particularly is all about. But he can get it because he's a madman too, I feel, in a certain way, and an attention whore, and following behind certain things and be in the face of it. Yes. I'm speaking about being important now briefly.
Yes.
The decadence that we embrace as normalcy. Let me tell you something. If we, and I'll say it and I don't care who doesn't like it, if we never got around the pink parasite, we as a people would be so much better off. But the bottom line is, as we were whipped, as we were raped, as we were removed from our language, our culture, and our God. And I know I sound like a Muslim now. But I mean, we can't say it no other way because it's been drummed in our head in a positive way. But when we echo the oppressor, nobody says, oh, you sound like this and you sound like that. So I'd rather sound like my Muslim brothers who say the truth in that aspect. Now, on a religious level, I don't get down with religion, but the facts that they bring, I'm gonna echo it because that's in our family in a different branch on our righteous tree.
Exactly.
I'll tell you, Minister Farrakhan influenced me greatly because not because he was on on an offshoot. Maybe it's not Orthodox Islam, but I didn't care about that. I heard a man who spoke on the issues that pastors and other people who are supposed to speak on these things were afraid to speak on. So that's why I gravitated toward that. And that's why I said, man, you know, my father raised me right and I admired him greatly, but Farrakhan added some things on, and I'm not going to be a person who's going to just echo what he says, just as way. But I admired that trait. And just like a young Floyd Mayweather under his father and uncles who trained as a fighter from young, he grew up around that. So what am I going to sound like? Right. I'm going to sound like those things that influence me, even though I never met Farrakhan. I saw him one time when I was a kid real close, because I confirmed it. Not to get off topic, but I want to say this. I was with my father in a barbershop back in the early 70s. And I remember this man that everybody gathered around. He was just sitting there talking. I'm like, Daddy, who's that? You know what I mean? It was him. I could have reached out and touched him.
Wow.
And then he doesn't have the possibility of him coming over my house when Akbar came by my house. And he said, I'm arranged. It never happened. But let me get back on topic.
Right.
You know, we do and we are influenced by the pink parasite who has a great hold on our minds. After all that has happened, we look to him. I'm not saying anybody here or all of us here, but in general, and you know I'm telling the truth with this, that many of us look to his world, his society, his fashion, his music, his influence, and his approval.
Yes.
Is we doing everything right, Massa? Subconsciously, we have been destroyed, and something in us, like a chip, has been removed and replaced with something else. Because we're like a remote control crash dummy, ventriloquist dummy, where we look black on the outside, but we have nothing of our own except to fill what we are with what he does.
Tell it.
So we look like ourselves. We can have a Black Solidarity Day or come out to Ghana and visit and put the dashiki on and say a kwaba and all these things and go right back to the decadence that we were planted in and we sucked up from the soil, the water of what he put in.
Exactly.
So our essence is that. And even those of us who are conscious, we still got a little bit of that stuff on us, because there's no way that you're going to jump in a bathtub full of dung. And I don't care how much you scrub with soap and a little water, when you get out, you're still going to be smelling like shit.
Exactly.
That's what we've been put in. So we got to understand that in different degrees. So I'm not exempt from that. There's still little things that I catch, like, oh man, I got that in me. And I consciously go after it and correct my movement and correct my thoughts and correct the things that I do.
Yes.
Others who are far off, oh man, you got your act together. Well, maybe compared to what you might say you're doing. Now, I don't feel condescending or superior to anybody, but you know, if you've been going to the gym for 5 years and eating a certain way, the big fat guy that comes in, you know, well, okay, I've been doing this, so I'm a little ahead of you. But I don't feel better than you because I was where you were.
Yes, indeed.
So I righteously spank somebody. It's not from a condescending mentality, right? It's from love, because I know you want to come out of it.
And they can do better. Exactly.
So the bottom line is that we got to stop embracing these things. We've got to consciously reject these things, because it's not giving any nutrition to our soul. This stuff is like junk food. And when you eat nothing but junk food, you never nourish yourself, although you put in empty calories.
Right.
In the store, it's a hot day. You know you have dinner 2 or 3 hours away from then, that time waiting for you. You ate about an hour or two ago, but you're thirsty and it's hot. One person goes in and grabs a half a gallon of orange juice and says, I'm going to sit over here and drink a little bit of this stuff, man, because I need to be refreshed. The next person goes and gets a 3-liter bottle of Pepsi. So they both drink. And one feels a little better than the other because that Pepsi is not nourishing you. It's not even hydrating you the way it's carbonated.
It can't. Exactly.
But it still gives you the feeling
of refreshment
going down. But just a quick lesson, whenever you put something that has got white sugar or refined sugar in it, it needs B vitamins to be digested. So if it doesn't have B vitamins in it, when you drink it, it's going to leach B vitamins from your body to digest. That's why you have the sugar fall, or the sugar rush is gone. And you feel it because you keep leaching this water-soluble vitamin, the B complex, out of your system. So you have to be full of this thing because, like I said, it's water-soluble and you will sweat it out, just like vitamin C. Vitamin A and B are fat-soluble, so you don't sweat that out. You can accumulate those things, but people don't know that. So the guy who drinks the orange juice still gets the sugar rush. Now, if he's diabetic, orange juice or soda will kill you the same way. You gotta be careful, but it's a little better if you drink the juice. Hopefully freshly squeezed, not this homogenized, pasteurized, cooked out, sweet water.
Nutritionless.
So even that is not good because it's enzymatically dead.
Exactly.
We got to be aware of what we're taking in. So when we watch these TV shows and sit down with our children, we are programming them and allowing them to be programmed into the decadence that we sign off on because we laughing at the TV on the old Jerry Springer show, and they're looking, well, okay, it must be okay with mommy and daddy. They're watching it, so let me kick back and absorb this dysfunction. So it's like the Pepsi that you're drinking.
You're talking a whole lot of stuff right now, isn't it?
Exactly. You are leeching that voice of decency. Leeching that moral voice that's supposed to be there, that when you are away from your parents, provided now we're talking about a little child, they're supposed to be training you and they tell you the right things and they raise you up in a good home. But the minute they sit you down in front of that TV set, as well as the computer, as well as the smartphone, when you see something that's not proper and we're fascinated with it, it begins to leach the decency that has been put in us. So when we find something about our children that now are teenagers, and we go inspect their room, and we go into our son's room, and we see magazines, not magazines where there might be a woman who's topless, right? Okay, we understand what that phase is, but we see hardcore gay magazines. Now people are going to say, oh, what's wrong with that? What I'm talking about is that how and what made you go off all the way like that?
Exactly.
Because to go off onto that subject, and again, this is not about bashing anything, but I'm going to tell it like it is. If your son is watching or looking at magazines that have gay activity that is so advanced, you see, they got, and I'm going to say it in a decent way, but I'm going to shock you, but I have to say it. They got a thing now. They got fads and trends in porn. I know people in the porn industry. I know people who wanted me to do graphics for them, little things, whatever. That's not I'm saying decent, but it was nothing nasty. But it was like, okay, I can do that for you. You want to put this name written in red letters with yellow around? Okay, I'll do that for you. And they pay me. But I know where it's going. But now you got a trend in gay porn where the activity is called ass to mouth.
Stop it.
I'm gonna say it decent from now on. And this is also in regular heterosexual porn. You gotta know these things. You know you're gonna learn. You know what I mean? Now I'm gonna say in a decent way. So let's read between the lines. What one man puts in that particular orifice,
I'm gonna be sick.
The next one
I'm gonna be sick
and extracts it with his mouth.
Oh God, okay? I'm gonna be sick.
So if your son is watching this and it's that advanced, when did he stumble on the mild stuff? And I'll ask, where the hell were you? So we can't take this decadence as being light. So if you see the man in the tuxedo dress, that plants a seed, pun intended,
my God,
in that little child's mind. Because now he's curious. See, we know what it is. We know what they do. But that child doesn't. So when now he has his masturbatory fantasies fueling, in his mind, he saw that and you approved him looking at that. So it must be all right to go a little bit further. You brought me to the beach. You let me come to the beach. So you can't get mad when I put my feet in the water.
Yes.
You can't be mad when I go in the water up to my knees, because you were laughing at the decadence that we saw on that early morning talk show. All types of dysfunction and normalcy. Or normalcy for the oppressor. But you enjoyed the normalcy because you laughed at it, and inadvertently you signed off on it.
Exactly. And now they want to find out what that's all about. They want to try it for themselves.
Exactly. So here comes somebody else who has that thought in mind, but your mind has been already seasoned with this, and you know what's wrong, what's happening to you. And you don't, in this particular situation, somebody who's a little older, but they ain't 18 yet, but they experimenting. See, there's a lot of things that we need to catch early on. Now, let's say something that's not gay, because I ain't gay bashing. I'm just telling you like it is right there, so you can know. You got a young girl who is not really embraced by the family, or the parents really don't hug, don't tell them that I love you and you're beautiful and we need you. You're a part of this family. This family would not be the same if you weren't here with us. Talk to us about anything that you have on your mind. You don't have to go anywhere else. You can talk to us at home and we'll never be angry with you. That is what my parents told me. That was one of the things that really struck me growing up, is that my father and my mother, but as a father, now my mother said it, but I'm just saying it as a father. My father said, Lance, if you ever do anything that might land you in trouble out there, you come to us and we will handle it. Even if you know you're wrong, tell us the truth.
Exactly.
Even if you know it's wrong, and by our teachings, tell us the truth and we will know how to handle it. But if you tell us a lie, and we're going to try to handle it, we don't know which foot to stand on, because if we're defending you or trying to minimize the punishment, we won't be able to handle it properly if you don't input into us exactly what happened, because we're going to move what you say. So I didn't do things to have to get to that point. I didn't get to that point to have to tell them I did something wrong. So I didn't do anything wrong. That conscious moral voice inside of me spoke up and said, you know, Lance, if you do that, this might happen, and you're going to have to deal with your parents.
Right. And you know what? I want to say something along those lines for a quick second when it comes to parents. And, you know, because this happened to me, you know, and I mean, thankfully, I was always afraid of a beating, but so I wasn't trying to lie. But when you tell your children, when you're talking to your child, they've done something wrong, and you want them to tell you the truth, and you're telling them, tell me the truth and nothing will happen. Right? And that child believes you and tells you the truth, and then you turn around and give them an ass whooping. You know, exactly. That is wrong, because you're setting your child up to be a perpetual liar, because now they can't trust you.
They can't trust you.
They cannot trust you. So don't tell your kid to tell you the truth and then turn around and give them the punishment of their life. Either you're going to talk to them, or you're going to punish them at a later date and let them know why you're punishing them. But don't be telling them nothing is going to happen if you tell me the truth.
Right. You lying to them.
Yes. You know, so I just had to say that.
Yes. And thank you, Synovia. Thank you. And I wish, you know.
I know, for real, Synovia.
I wish they were here in this plane, that they can sit down, you know, plain meaning level, you know, that they can sit down and get on the mic too. I hear their voices, not like a crazy man, but they put so much in me that I can close my eyes and literally hear my mother's voice and hear my father's voice and overhear again the conversations that I was allowed to listen to and be there as a child. They never told me, well, you're a child and you got to stay in the child's place, because the things they talked about didn't have to be spoken in whispers.
Right.
They said it out in the open. So I'm programmed from birth, single digit ages, from young, because I can remember something was wrong when Martin Luther King was shot. And I remember that time, and I can't say every single thing, but I remember the cloud that hung over the air. Now I was just a little before 2 when Malcolm X, because it was February of I believe February of 65. I was born in April 63. Well, he used to give speeches all through Harlem, even though he broke away from Elijah Muhammad. And the rumor is my brother had took me down to one of his little speeches and rallies. So Malcolm X's voice physically I heard, but I didn't know what was going on. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I remember the cloud that hung over that particular time, meaning that as I got to be 10 years old in 1973, well, what happened just happened a few years ago. And the people in the barbershops and the people in the street, that's not all they were talking about. But I began to understand what really happened when I had snippets of visuals and voices and, Mommy, Daddy, what's going on? Who's that? And I remember hearing people speak about Malcolm X after he died too, when I was very young, and it was always Malcolm X. And it scared me until I was taught who it was, because the
X part, right.
It's a mysterious, I'm thinking it's like some kind of like invisible man or somebody that's going to get you, and like Malcolm X is going to come get you. I was picking up the guilt of the oppressor.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is that they put so much into me that way that I can walk away into the outside world and have them guide me by the voices that I heard and knew how they were morally correct in what they put inside me, and was brutally honest. Right. Brutally honest. And so I didn't have to go through that. Well, my parents told me this phase, this thing, but there's another phase of what they didn't tell me that I had to go find out.
Right.
You see what I mean? And I know I keep saying it, but I'm going to say it again. My father, as a man, and for the manly duties, and my mother had her motherly duties, and they had their duties together, but he would take me to places all throughout Washington Heights and Harlem back in the 60s, early 70s, and show me the whorehouses, the number spots, and show me the guys who were shooting up drugs, and talk to them, let them talk to me. And he gave them permission. Talk like you talk anywhere else. Cuss, say whatever you want. If you talk about this or that. So one thing I'll never forget is when we walked into this abandoned building. Now, you know, he hooked the guys up before we got there, right? He gave him a few bucks and said, listen, I want you to talk to my son. Let him know the deal. This is how I'm growing him. So when I got there, there's a big barrel on the first floor, but the second floor was not, it was knocked out. It was an abandoned building.
Oh, wow.
Bricks and rubble. It was dark. And I'm like, Daddy, where we going? You know what I mean? You know, and if I was older, I would say, wait, is this a mafia hit? You know? So we go in and we see this barrel, this drum burning with a flame in it. And it was wintertime, it was cold. And there was some dude sitting around close to the drum, keeping warm.
Yeah.
And a half empty bucket of chicken, and I saw a couple sodas there, but they had their arms out and they had the thing wrapped around. One of them had it wrapped around.
Oh my God.
So that I can see it. So we got there and I'm looking, he says, you know, son, you're safe with me and everything, but I want you to talk to these guys. I was scared. So he said, hey, little Lance, what's going on, man? Because my father's name is Lance. Yo, I want to talk to you about something. I want to tell you why you should never do this fucking shit that I'm doing right now. Now, I'm not cussing because I want to. I'm telling you what I heard what little baby, young boy is, right?
Right.
What I was afforded. So it shocked me. I'm like, oh, he's cursing. You know, when you curse it, and you grew up in a home where you as a kid know about cursing, but when you hear people do it and your parents around, I was like, oh man, he cursed. You know what I mean? It's like the night before when you go on channel 13 late at night and do the mature subject matter, parental discretion. And you, oh, this is going to be a juicy one. And all they did back today, they say the word bitch. And the next day in school, oh, did you hear it? He said bitch on TV. Oh my God. The teacher's like, shut up. And the teacher knew, right? So
For real.
No, I'm going to tell you something straight up. Your father's a good man to have you come talk to me. But I'm going to tell you why I'm out here shooting this crap in my arm. See, I can't face reality, right? You know, because I had a good job, man, and I had a good life, and I thought I had a good woman, but I came home one day, and my best friend was in my bed, man, fucking my woman, man, right? I couldn't take it, you know, so I did alcohol to get away. I lost my job. I was out here bumming. I started robbing places. I did time in jail. My life is all fucked up because I was so weak, man, and that woman, you know, I trusted. I'm not saying women are bad, man, but don't ever get to a point where you find yourself falling and you don't reach out, because I thought that I could handle all the stress on my own. Now I'm a fucking junkie out here shooting dope in my arm. I know how to do mechanics. I went to school for this, for architecture. I was one of the best ones. I was in the gym boxing. I had a good life, man, but that girl fucked me up, man. I just want to tell you, Lance, I love you, man, because your father's a good man. I remember him when I used to be right. And I'm sitting here like, oh, shoot.
Wow.
And then he goes and puts the thing in his arm. He says, Lance, I want you to look at what I'm doing. The only person supposed to give you a needle is a doctor. And even then, your parents got to be there and you got to figure out what it is. And he did it. And he said, this thing makes me feel so good and takes me away from my pain. But deal with your pain, brother. If you don't remember anything else, deal with your pain head on and face it. And don't let nobody take you off course.
Right. Right.
And he hugged me. And he hugged my father. The other guys hugged me. And he said, y'all have a good night. If you ever want to talk, you can come to me. And we walked away. And when we witnessed and drove home, it was silence. He let me sink in my thoughts and absorb that thing. And he asked me how I felt, and I thanked him because I knew exactly what he was doing. So therefore, on certain levels, certain things couldn't touch me because I was programmed.
Right.
I could never embrace the oppressor's decadence as normalcy, because I had the right computer symbolic chip put inside of me. You see what I mean?
Exactly.
So now we have the little girl, going back to that. And her parents gave her the nice room, gave her food, gave her the latest clothes, but never made her feel like she belonged. Never made her feel that she was beautiful. Never put that in her mind so that when the young guys call her beautiful, with intentions behind it, she'd be able to tell the difference and not be used by them. So I'm not saying that that's her fault. And of course, I just looked in the chat room a little while ago, and, you know, our young girls are hypersexualized.
Right.
But if society tries to dictate that onto them, if the home upbringing was strong and things were put in already, it would have no hold on them.
Exactly.
So this is not a blame game. This is a timing thing. Because, and I'll prove it to you. How many times did you end up at somebody's house with a friend and they're about to eat dinner or they have a cookout going on? Man, and the food looks good. It is good. And you already ate some corny food at home that you didn't want to eat, but you're full now. Now you're like, damn it, I wish I was hungry. I'd tear this up. But you eat a little piece of fried chicken and it tastes so good. You can't really get into any of it all because you're already full.
Exactly.
How about if we leave our children full with wisdom, full with teaching, full with the right thing, and full with the sense of belonging to something bigger than them that loves them and embraces them. When they go out into the outside world, guess what? Hey, girl. Oh, you so beautiful.
Get the hell away from me.
Oh, I never saw anything that looked like you. Please, can I talk to you? Please, can I know your name? Please, can I take you out? Maybe you can come over my house later on and
not
eat some Chinese food, or I can buy you something, or, you know, And maybe this guy has a nice car. Hop in the car. Let's take a ride. And he goes around to the other guys that are in on the game. Man, that girl beautiful. Where you find her? Ain't she beautiful? I want to marry her one day. And she knows that he's gassing her up, but the gassing up feels better
so
than
good.
anything
Yes.
she had before.
Yes, that's true.
Because if her father told her how beautiful she was in a decent way, she would really notice already. So
exactly.
you go out in the street and you ain't telling me nothing. My daddy ain't telling me, and I already know it. Now, she wouldn't be arrogant to say it that way, but inside her cup is already running over.
Oh, exactly.
It's like the food you ate at home, and now you can't eat the junk food or the cookout food because you're already full with esteem, right? So that child, that young girl, I'm not going to say she's 20, I'm not going to say she's 14, but them little in-between ages there, she's taking advantage of really looking for love. Yeah. And the only way she knows to get the attention, to get this love, which ain't love, but it's attention from the boys that she thinks is love, is to show a little more, is to wear this stuff a little tighter. Yes. In actuality, maybe behind closed doors in the alleyway or the backseat of the car, do a little more. Right. Because the feeling of being adored is an intoxicant, as it should be. But you got this guy in her life now, and she's in the wrong hands, giving the Pepsi when it should be orange juice. Giving her the fake thing. Tell it. No substance behind it, when she should already be full of the real thing. So now he turns her out. She's so hooked on his attention and admires him for his street credibility and being manly in a kind of slanted way, in a way that she could never appreciate the father because he never had no time for her. So now she's getting high. Now she thinks she loves this man so much, she's doing the whole crew. My God, because he's exactly. And while she's doing the whole crew, he's telling her, you my bottom bitch and I love you. And he's high-fiving behind her back the other guys who they getting a free ride on her.
Can you imagine?
Oh, this is real. I've seen it.
That's the kind of shit that makes you want to go kill yourself.
Exactly. I have walked in on situations of younger kids and I had to break it up. Like, what are you doing? I'm your father. What are you doing? Man, I'm gonna fuck you up, man. You ain't come on with it, man. You think I'm old? I'll whip your ass up in here. I'll whip all y'all up in here. I'm not. I take care of myself. Get out of here. Don't tell my father. I'm in bed. Please, he would kill me. So. Well, what do you think HIV would do? What do you think a child that you're not prepared to have would do with your plans for life? We had a conversation in the supermarket checkout line 2 weeks ago, and you told me how you wanted to aspire to be this or aspire to be that. No, this is real. Wow. It was real. Up in New York. Wow. In a train on an abandoned daggone building. And she laughed. It's just arch, and they were just hopping on one. I couldn't believe it. And I don't care if it was a child that I didn't know the father. I was going to break it up. Exactly. Well, you don't do that. And they using you like that. And I knew the pedigree of the kids that were doing it. I don't care if they were affluent and rich. I was still going to stop it. But the families they came from, I'm going to say it, trash. And this girl came from a good family, and it was more that the violation of her, not that sexual act. Yeah, she come from the family.
Bring her down. Bring her down.
Now I got a daughter here bent over. I'm getting all this stuff. I don't care. I ain't got no condom. I'm gonna let it all go up in, and if she get pregnant, so what? They got the money to take care of it.
Yes.
We don't talk about things the way we should, and we need to at the time that they're ready for, because children are adorable. I ain't say talk to them like this when they're 4 years old, but whatever you think that they can handle a little more, because they're going to go up on the street and they're going to hear the real deal, uncensored, unfiltered, and uncut.
And even if they act like they ain't listening, they listening.
Oh man,
trust and know they listening.
It goes right to the decadence. And where does the decadence come from? It trickles down from this so-called dominant society And really, we got to say that's what it is, because they work so hard to keep a dominant position over us, not just with systematic racism, but dominate our mind with their media.
Yes.
To make evil fair seeming and okay. So when we see the half-naked, thonged out chick that may have a very nice body, but that should not be seen by me. That's none of my business. That should be for her husband. See the little girl in the middle of the dance floor emulating the moves. Go ahead, go get it, girl.
Listen,
get it, girl. Oh, you get the girl up there. So you approving this.
Exactly. Even today.
Decadence. See.
Yes.
These little things. Look, as old as we are, or really as old as I am, because you're a pretty young thing yourself.
Thank you. I won't deny that.
Come on, and everybody in the chat room.
Stop
you
it.
Can remember things
right.
from way back. Even if you don't remember the whole story of certain things, you remember snippets of memory as your mind began to retain it and make what was going on around you.
Yes.
I remember things from when I was 2 years old and a year and a half.
So
little
do I. Yes.
And there are things that are in there that I remember and retain, but I can't make sense of it, but it's in my mind. So when you're the center of attention as a child and your folks or your older peers around you approving of certain things and you're young, it's okay with you as you get older, because I did it in front of mommy and daddy and my auntie.
Why can't I do it now?
If I do it a little worse as I get older out there, they can't say that it's wrong. So we have these things that are always put out in the media. We have these white folks that are actors and so-called celebrities, and that's their system of illusion. But we have it going on out there, and it's blasted out there, and it's a direct shot. Now, I've never done drugs in my life,
right?
And I've never did crack, but I've seen people. I've gone over people's houses that I knew, not to hang out with them, but I knew they cooked up crack.
Oh, wow.
And I might have been going over there to find out, well, give me the guy's number that does the breaks, man. I'm out of here, but I'm not staying long. And they sitting in the kitchen table or in the kitchen by the sink and by the stove. I'm like, that's what that stuff looked like? I couldn't believe it. And for me, and this is as a grown man, a young man, but a grown man, like, they getting ready to take this out in the street and this is illegal?
My God.
They can get raided. I'm thinking all kind of TV show stuff. And they got this stuff on them. If they get caught, they're going to get locked up. And the crackheads are coming at them. The cops are watching. They know that you're selling whatever. It made me nervous.
No doubt.
What was even worse was when there was a guy who was doing work for me in the house. We knew he smoked crack. So you'd have to pay him a little bit at a time. You couldn't pay him a lump sum. You'd never see him no more. The respect factor was, now with him, he was a respectable person in the neighborhood, but we knew that was his weakness. And he was a master carpenter. So we paid him, but hey, we got bargain basement prices at the time. But he took a break and he did good work up until that point. I said, okay, here, I hit you off with this. He ran away. I'll be back in 30 minutes. Okay, I know what you're going to do. I didn't approve of it. But he came back early and got into the backyard where it was dark. And I went to the backyard and we had renovations going on. I didn't feel like going to the second floor to take a leak. I said, we go back here in my own backyard and take a leak over here by these bushes. Scared me when I saw him there with the crack pipe in his hand, smoking.
Oh, man.
Inhaling. And I saw the little light, the little rock lighting up.
Yeah.
I didn't want to get near him because I'm like, he's blowing the smoke out. I don't want no crack particles to get in my brain and make me a baby crackhead. No, I don't want this stuff to even be near me. But I stood away from him. So he was like, Lance, because he was holding the smoke. He normally talks a certain way, but when people smoke weed, hey man, what's going on? Oh, we're going to get together later on, right? All right. All right, let me call this chick, man. I'll call you later on about 9:30. That's how they do. So he was talking. So I didn't want to disrespect him and walk away, but he was talking 50 miles a minute.
Wow.
It bugged me out. You know, so when we put the cylinder across and with the cars, you know, I know a lot about mechanics too, right? But when I put that window in, we frame the window in, right? We got to frame it in real good, but we got to use some waterproofing around that, right? But you know, when I was in Vietnam, and I saw a robot come up out the ground, right? But you know what? My baby mama got pregnant, right? The baby came out, man. The baby was like, she was smiling. But you know, man, I've been constipated. I don't know what it is, man. I got to take some X-Lax, but you know, I ain't been getting no sleep, right? So what the hell are you telling me? Yeah, so you know, I don't believe nobody ever went up on the moon. I think that's a lie.
This is the Friday show, everybody.
You see the scar right here, man? I scraped up my leg, man, and I got this scar forever and whatnot. But you know, I used to hate my second school teacher, man, because she embarrassed me. I'm like, his mind was unloading, y'all. And I saw the madness. So if he's talking this way and I'm hearing it this way, what the hell is he
going on in his head? Yes.
What? And there was another one who used to hang out with him.
Oh my God.
Blanche. And not to put a name out there, but everybody in the neighborhood knows back up in those days. That was decades ago. Blanche was fine. But with each passing year, she just got more and more ragged and she kept losing weight. But Blanche had a big head, but she was a big head chick that was fine with a big head, right? Because she had the hips and the legs and everything else. So nobody minded that, you know, her head was a little big. Like she got a big head, but she fine. Wouldn't you know, over the years, you know, her hair fell out and she started to wear a scarf over her head, like the perpetual get my hair done whenever I can. But, you know, I got some fried damaged hair under this that you can see poking out. So she wear the scarf. She was wearing the scarf all the time. But wouldn't you believe her head shrunk to like 1/3 the size? It was weird.
Kidding.
Yo, it's like, yo, what's up with her?
Is that like Beetlejuice?
But the whole body shrunk, but her head was small. So when you saw her, if you didn't know her from before, it's like, yo, who's that small head chick over there? Heads don't get small like that.
How does that happen?
I don't know. So what I'm saying is that here we had a neighborhood that I grew up in that was back in the day when we were all in our single digit ages. Everybody was wholesome. So I can't really blame it on the TV all the way back then, but we still absorbed the decadence of the oppressor, but we had more of our family units intact. Even if it was a single mother that raised you, you had more of a community that filtered those things from coming into the minds of our children.
Exactly.
Right? And we had those units that filled in. So if the woman was a single mother and didn't have a husband, there were enough men righteously in the neighborhood that to keep certain things from coming in. But now, like I said, we don't have community no more. We have neighborhoods.
And a lot of us are stunted in our development. A lot of grown people that are having children are stunted in their development. So technically speaking, they shouldn't be having children. You know, because they haven't grown up, they haven't matured.
And having children to them is it's just after the fact.
Yeah.
It's not even like, you know, and of course, the way sex is constructed and made, it feels good. You have sometimes stress in your life. You might not be getting drunk, you might not be getting high, but you know what it's like? Damn, you my woman. We got to be tight for the next 2 weeks until we get paid. You know, the supervisor's messing with me and you had an argument with your sister. Let's escape into some pleasure. And
you hope you have somebody who can do that.
Huh?
No,
exactly. No, but
I mean, no. When I say that, I mean, because you're saying it like, hopefully the next person, you know, because you have people who, when they get stressed, they listen, even sex can't make them feel better or function. You know, they turn out the different ways, you know.
Exactly. That's why I said, provided you don't do this or do that, and that's the only thing you can do. But no, I know exactly what you're saying. So, you know, we have children sometimes, and it wasn't like we really planned. So hopefully in our own personal situation that we're straight enough financially and with the living conditions and stuff, and things may not be perfect, but lots of times we ain't playing nothing. And after the fact, you get that phone call and say, oh, what am I going to do now?
Mm-hmm.
I got no job. And why is it that way? You know, and it's still always going to happen. We don't want it to happen, but that's life. It happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there was a girl who called me one time and I got scared when I was a teenager, but really what happened was she had about 5 boyfriends.
Oh, wow.
and I was not the father, you know, so, you know, those things happen, you know,
Right.
But what I'm saying is that, you know, we need to cut off from this ordained society of decadence. Now everything is okay.
I know.
So it filters down to the Black community and we're being wiped out because of it, because we're not built to do these things. We're not supposed to do these things.
Exactly.
They can do those things. The pig can go in the pig pen in the mud and eat up scraps of slop and even eat some of the mud that's on the scraps. And he got that little hole to let the pus out because he's built for that.
Good God.
But we ain't no pigs. We are higher vibrating beings who are vibrating so low, we're not ourselves, and we're facing the consequences because we get hurt more doing these things because we're not supposed to be doing it.
Exactly.
That is what they do. They are built for that. So you follow behind with them, you're going to get 10 times the consequences because you shouldn't have been following these people in the decadence that they do. And I don't care what category of decadence it is. Do not even taste it. Don't even do it. I have been to situations. I remember a friend of mine and myself, we were coming up in Greenwich Village, which primarily is a lot of gays, right? We eat gay because they had a lot of nice restaurants. We always took girls there and different. We hung out. We hung out down there. Right. Beautiful place. You know, they hit on you when you were a bodybuilder. They look at you funny. So we were done with these girls, and all of a sudden, a Black girl and a white girl, we were all crossing the street. So the white girl squeezed my arm and says, "Oh my God, your arms are so muscular." I mean, they were muscular. They ain't muscular like that now. And the other Black girl was to my other friend, "Oh, could you both make a muscle?" And we did, because we young. It's a girl asking us this. "Oh my God, you guys are gorgeous. What are you guys doing tonight?" We just hanging out. We just hung out with some girlfriends of ours, and, you know, we're hanging out. "Well, come with us. We know where there's a party." Now, this is Manhattan back in the 80s, and anything goes. You got high rises. I mean, buildings that Manhattan would say, that's not a tall building. It's tall for mainstream USA and some hick town. So we walked about 2 miles north. It ended up somewhere in maybe 3 miles, ended up somewhere in the 30s on the west side. It was like a warehouse looking, because we ended up, we felt invincible. These girls, they seem wholesome. They had nice bodies, but they, you know, and I wasn't looking at the white girl, I was looking at the sister. So was my friend. With it. So we went up this service elevator. Right. Just like with Fatal Attraction. Remember Michael Douglas and Glenn Close, they were going up the elevator, and it was it was open, right? It's kind of scary. That's the service elevator for those who don't know, who live in little towns, where the service people, the people who deliver things and the people who bring, you don't come around the luxurious front with that stuff. You go around the back. Exactly.
Yeah.
When we went up to this floor, it might have been like the 30-something or 40-something floor. And it was scary going up there, that rickety elevator. When it opened up, it was nice, but it was like a hallway, like a vestibule.
Right.
And there were 2 men, very muscular, big, steroided up, standing there. And it was quiet. So when we got there, the girls whispered in their ears a code word. And we're like, "Oh, this is cool. What the hell is going on here?" And then they let us in. And there was another little hallway area, but behind those next doors, this is what we heard. Real low. Boom, 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 boom. It was a party. It was a loft where the ceilings were like as high as 2 stories from the inside of this building. So when they opened up, first thing I saw was a lady in a thong with some drinks and a breast hanging out. What the hell is this? A table had a little bit of cocaine and a bunch of people sitting there. Then I saw a man doing another man. I'm like, oh man, I'm out of here. Until I saw 3 fine chicks on the other side. I said, yo, let's grab a corner, man. Let's absorb this. What I'm saying is that so many of our brothers and sisters were there. And for some reason, when we get into the decadence of the oppressor and the pink parasite, we got a thrill from doing them.
Yeah.
We get a thrill from trying to win him over and do it worse. And they love it because they know that we're high vibrating beings, and they get a thrill from seeing us down in the decadence. They love it.
Exactly.
You reject the things that they do and let them know that there's certain things you don't do. Not that you're trying to be holier than thou, but you let them know, no, I don't do this. Come on, guy. Come on. We got some girls back there. And there's another guy back there. You ever been with a guy? Yo, I don't get down with none of that stuff, man. No. Oh, you can't knock it till you try it. You know, for real. So when we reject it, they don't like it at first, but they begin to despise us because you make them feel how decadent their nature is by your lack of indulging in the things that they consider normalcy. Yes, it's normalcy for you, but it's nothing that is on the list for me. It's not normalcy for me.
Exactly.
And so this way, you bashing, you think you're better than somebody. You, who do you think you are? I'm the original man of the planet Earth and a supreme vibrating being who's passing through this plane, this illusion of a plane, because I'm destined for higher. You stuck here. You don't have eternity to look forward to. This is all it's going to be for you. So your fear of death is real because when you leave here, you ain't going nowhere else except dead. No consciousness, no energy transferal, no ascension, no nothing. And you want to rob me of that by keeping me here.
That's right.
To indulge in the things that would chain me here. Even if I tried it once, you're going to make me have the cooties on me. You know, tag, you're it. You got the cooties. Now you might have planted a seed on me that now was something that I did that I shouldn't have done. And now instead of thinking of moving to a higher level, I'm thinking about your decadence. Now you long gone, moved to another city. You might have not do it no more. And I'm stuck with this thing. You might be dead and I'm stuck with this thing that you put on me. And I allowed you to get on me. So when you see these people trying to get you to indulge in certain things, you reject it. I don't care how corny it may sound.
Right.
Because there's an unseen consequence when you look. They found out that if you were to kiss somebody one time, they can find it in your body somehow because that mark is there. They can physically find it. I'm not going to say it's in your DNA. I would like to say it that way, but there's nothing that you do on that physical level that doesn't leave an imprint on your physical self.
Yes.
It goes a step further. There's nothing that you can do on the physical that doesn't leave also a spiritual, a mental, and emotional imprint on you.
That's true.
So everything that happens to you has an effect on you and is stored up. Just like we said, we can remember little fragmented memories of childhood. Everything we do affects us. So don't think that I'm just going to do this night. I'm going to do it just once a week. I don't do it that much, whatever it may be. No. You're averaging yourself out because like I like to say, if the number 100 got horny and slept with the number 50, it would wake up 75 because it averaged out. Because 100 plus 50 equals 150 and you divide it back by 2 and it's 75. So 50 got over and took from you and now it gained because it's now 75 and you lost. So when you indulge in these activities with low vibrating people, what you think you averaging out on? This is why when it's time to get high with a hard drug that you don't do, they want you who never did it before to do it with them.
Yes.
Because they get that rush. They get a spiritual decadent commission from the negative forces of the universe to lure you into doing this. So the high that they get is a higher high because they got you as a sacrifice.
They just turned you out. Yes.
Filth.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
See? So you gotta understand the consequences of everything you do. Look, I'm at a point now in my life. I don't have no problem being monk-like. I don't have no problem being reclusive-like. When I leave out the door, and many times we have been on the phone and I said, Empress, I'm going to take a walk out and this is where I'm going. And I always let Mr. Scurv know.
Right.
Every time I leave out the door, I tell you what my mission is. Even if I say, I've been in the house. See, I've been in the house for the past 4 days. I left to take care of some business this morning. And that broke the streak. But I had no reason to leave.
Hi, Rich Rules. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Rich Rules, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Oh, I got so many encounters. I don't know. I think the one who created me knew I was going to have a podcast and a YouTube channel before it existed. and make sure he got enough stories to tell. Yeah, trust me.
And I heard stories last night that I never heard before.
Oh, remember that? Oh man, that was.
Oh my God.
That has to be a super mature adult show that we share. That
Yeah.
Because I thought, and you know, when our sister Beatrice Noel gets shocked or she's upset, she says, "What the?" And we know when Priscilla G gets shocked, oh my God. And she ain't saying God in the European sense. Oh my God. It's just like, I'm shocked. And so just when I thought that maybe she couldn't be shocked anymore, I was telling her the story, a very much adult story in a situation that I observed. And it was to the point where family members had to make sure that you were all right. I heard her. They're like, "You all right?" And I said, "They must know that you talking to me because it's only me that gets you doing crazy like that." Yeah, because see, you didn't see it coming the way I told that story.
Oh my God.
See, we all go through things, but I gotta tell it a certain way in a certain sequence to have more punch. It's like a comedian that delivers the punchline. He done sets you up with all that he said. When he delivers a punchline, it's like it knocks you off your feet. So I had to tell it that way. And I kept going with it. Just when you thought that you were knocked off the chair, I had more in the same story to tell you.
We're gonna share that on a comedy night, guys. Don't worry. We're definitely gonna share it. Now I don't know if we can really share it on YouTube.
No, we can't share it on YouTube.
We can't share this on YouTube, but we're gonna do a show.
I want to tell it the way it was.
Yeah, but we're gonna share it. This is where you're gonna have to Patreonize.
Yeah, and I want to tell everybody that I have not been putting videos up on Patreon just from time, and the support on Patreon is for the overall work that I do, plus the things we don't share on YouTube. So don't think I'm slacking, that I just haven't put it on that. It's still on YouTube, it's still LanceScurv.com. But we've been really pushing and we're moving to another level soon. So probably within the next few days, maybe Sunday, I'll upload those things on Patreon, but it's stuff that you get on YouTube. That's why I say to show your support on Patreon, just throw $1. Just to say, hey, Lance, I don't say, oh, in this tier, you need to put 20 and you get this and 50. No. If you want to do that, fine. But it's just a matter of saying, see my name, I support you. Here's $1, $12 a year.
Right.
Because it's a symbolic thing to say. It's not like, well, you ain't doing no videos in a couple weeks for Patreon, so you're ripping me off. No, it's just the support on things overall.
Exactly.
That comes out automatically that you don't feel. because I know these times are rough for so many people. I'm not out here trying to, and you don't have to do that. You can share the video, you can like it, you can tell somebody about the channel and help to get more subscribers. It gets the content out there. So I'm not out here on that. Well, if you want to get this, you better pay me. No, it's an energy thing. And see, this is why when I go back to the animal kingdom, they ain't got no mortgage, but they ain't got no fridge either. But guess what? They all got coats and they all eat. Queen Marat Rogers, thank you so much. Your presence here. And I want you to come back on the show and talk with us and give the energy to everybody. And everybody's much appreciated. Okay. Well, I'm trying to pack up Sunday. We have a big surprise Sunday. You know, everybody's been asking for a Brother Ison. I'll say it that way. And we talked in depth. And the way he brings it, whether you might miss it, you might not, but he's gonna be here on Sunday, and we're gonna put it down. You know, and like I said, is with every ounce of strength and breath, like on the song by Minister Louis Farrakhan, with every ounce of strength and breath, we're gonna keep doing what we have to do, because this is what we're made to do. For me, at this point, I understand that this is my positioning, and I want to give a big shout out to Sister Julia, who's usually here.
She's usually here. Yeah, where is she? Thank you, Queen. Thank you, darling.
I spoke to her last night. I think for like about an hour and 43 minutes. It was gonna be a quick call, but the energy she has, man, it just boosted me up, and I was falling out before we talked. Because I told you, like, I'm gonna take this call and then I'm gonna go and lay down because I got to get up early in the morning. Right. But it charged me up, and phenomenal energy, and she has so much to share. And it's funny because she said, I'm a little shy. You ain't shy. It's just a matter of once we get flowing, you know, like Shaka Khan, the old song back in the early 70s. Once you get started, it's time to get down. When we get down, y'all, when you get down, ain't no turning back, no. Always tell my age.
There you go. You're always telling your age.
Come on and groove, doom, 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 doom. Come on and groove.
Always telling your age.
Yeah, I don't know really about Zamal. He's writing this book. He said he was going to go for a long time and not be seen and just focus on his work. He has my number. He knows who I am. And when he does something, he does what he does
very thorough
and meticulous. So, you know, I honor that. And he said, well, when I'm ready to come out of my cocoon, whether it's a year or two, I will do so. So I said, brother, I support you, and I'm here for you, just like I am for everybody else.
Right.
But you know, like I said, be very careful on what you're averaging out with. You have to look at the Oppressor's Decadence like a mist, like smoke, like a fog. See, when you walk in a hallway where one door is a doorway to a nightclub, and then they're smoking, you don't smoke. But if you hang around that door, even go inside to use the restroom and get out of there, you don't realize it. You smell the smoke. When you come home and your significant other family's like, where were you? Is what you mean. You smell like smoke. You know what I mean? So it rubs off on you.
Yes.
So you got to be careful.
You got to be careful.
Being in the presence of certain spirits. Yeah, it rubs off on you.
Are we going to?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish that.
No. Well, no, what I'm saying is that you may not be involved in what they do, but now you inhale the smoke symbolically. It doesn't have to be just smoke. It could be the spirit that's on them. You keep hanging around them, and morally, you know what they're doing is not right, and you're not judging because you see what it is. You can't judge me. Judging is when you don't know. Like I said, when a police officer pulls you over, you can't say, oh, you don't know what you're doing. You're judging me. He's like, no, I got the radar gun right here.
Exactly. Although they can be wrong too, you know. They can be wrong. Again? I said they can be wrong too, because a cop did that to me.
No, I know. But I'm saying if you're doing 60 miles an hour and a 30 mile, whatever, and you try to talk your way out of it and he shows it to you, you have the tool that he can show you that he's not judging. Let me just answer this door real quick. Hold on.
All right. Okay, guys. So I see everyone is here. You know, this is Brother Lance's topic, so he's going all in. And I'm going to ask him to touch on something that is going around in the news, you know, these past few days. A lot of these Hollywood stars are talking about their hygiene habits, you know, and it's not very good. You know, it's kind of disgusting when you think about it.
Oh yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so Brother Lance,
Yes,
as
yes.
we had touched on last night, the
Which one?
the hygiene of some of these people, you
Yes,
know.
about that. Tell
Mhm.
you. I mean, I can talk about it, but you brought it, so
Listen, I brought it because what I don't know how many people in the chat have been hearing this. A lot of these Hollywood stars are saying that some don't bathe but once a week. Some don't even use soap. They just wash their hair and let the water from the shampoo run down their bodies, and that's the extent of any kind of washing that they do. Some of them were talking about the fact that they don't bathe their children. You know, they wait until they can actually see physical dirt on the child before they bathe them. What the hell?
mm,
What?
mm, mm.
And they're talking these things as if it's, you know, hey, what's wrong with that? Why do we need to bathe? We don't need to bathe. You know, if I'm not dirty. Well, your ass is dirty. Your coochie's dirty.
He almost made me spit up my drink.
Because I don't talk like that.
I think this is the first time Empress Ligy ever said the word coochie.
I know. I was going to say your pizza is dirty, but I'm not going to desecrate pizza like that.
I know, right?
You know? So, you know, that's why they smell like that. That's right, TT Brew,
TT
because
Brew, you on point.
you know, it was, I heard some things last night. I was like, are you shitting me? Are you like literally shit? And these are famous people. These are people that you would know. I'm not, you know, we're not going to be calling out names on this channel because, you know, whatever. That's just me,
Exactly.
you know.
Exactly.
But these are people that if you heard them, you would know. Okay? There was one particular rapper whose wife says she don't bathe every day. She don't wash certain areas of her body every day. Now, how
Mm-mm.
you gonna be having sex? How you gonna be doing things and not wash at some point?
Rotting buttermilk, Melissa Z. Not just buttermilk, but rotting buttermilk.
Rotting buttermilk.
That's
Oh my
worse.
God, you can't get any worse than that.
Mm.
Oh my God. Kwame, exactly. We shouldn't even ask or argue, but you know what? It's around us. You know, we're walking amongst these people on the regular, on a daily basis. You understand? So it's not even about whether we're asking, it's just putting out there, this is the shit that we're dealing with. And it's shocking because when you watch commercials, when you look at the commercials that they're putting out there, whose face is on those shampoo and those body wash commercials and the different body washes that you can use? When they clean their homes, whose face are they putting on the commercials to show you that these people are uber clean and their homes are spick and span and this and
Mm-hmm.
that and whatever, that these people, they wash twice a day? Whose face are they putting? They're not putting our faces on it because they would want to give you the impression that we as Africans, we don't even want water to touch our bodies. But guess what? We as Africans, we will find a river, a stream, the ocean, wherever the hell we can find water, and we're gonna go take a wash. Even if we don't have soap, we'll use soapstone because there is such a thing as soapstone. And when you wet it, it
Mm-hmm.
soaks up like regular soap, and people
Wow.
know about that and they will wash themselves with soapstone.
Nature.
Okay? Exactly. Exactly. So it's not us, it's them, but they project onto us their quote unquote cleanliness. And now the real truth is coming out. The real truth is coming out. A lot of them are nasty, plain and simple.
You're right, Kwame. But the thing is, even in nature, you see a cat cleaning itself.
Exactly.
You even see, you got to be a real jacked up stray dog to be a funky stray dog. You know what I mean? Because even they'll find water, they'll find something. They won't feel right. But I've seen, I'm not throwing off on homeless now, but homeless white men walk past you and they funky as heck. Now, we know we got some of our own who are out there that may have mental conditions and mental situations going on. But I mean, for the most part, when I drove the bus, there were people who had pride and they had their mental faculties. They knew where to go. If they were not in the shelter, they knew where to go. I talked with some of these people at the bus. And on the route that I did, the 21 route was so long, like I said, it was a 3-hour round trip, that they would ride the bus and ride back, or ride the bus and go into Universal Studios where they had the open bathrooms, which the employees knew about, but they were open to the public. And it was a bunch of them. And a lot of bus drivers would run over there and use it. And it was basically where a wheelchair could fit in there, right?
Right.
And they had several of them in a row. So this woman named Deborah, and we're about the same age, but she was having a rough life. And she was homeless, and she did not want to live in the shelter because of the things that were going on there. So she was very kind to me, and we started to talk, and she's sitting in front of the bus. And one of the things with the bus company is like, don't let no stinky homeless person ride all day on your bus, whatever. But she wasn't that. So when the winter months came, and people think that Florida doesn't get cold, but it gets damn cold at night.
Yes, it does.
For a short period of time, I said, Deborah, don't worry about that. If you want to come on and ride on my bus, the 9 hours, I do these 3 trips on this route. And the other one, when I'm working, you can go back there and really get some sleep, because it was hard to sleep at night.
Right.
Because the homeless were up at night, because that's the time you're going to get your face kicked in. You're going to get robbed. And there's a thing that's going on and has been going on with women who are homeless. This is why a lot of homeless women bulk up their clothes and wear dark glasses and put the hat on, because they don't want you to know they're female, because there are a lot of homeless women that get raped. And lots of times it's not a next homeless person who's doing it. It could be a bunch of drunk white boys coming out the club and see a homeless woman there who's hungry, and they smack her up and take what they want. And she's not going to go to the police. Maybe she does, but she's living a certain way. And they're not going to get into that anyway. Oh, you're homeless. I'll get out of here. See, so there's a underbelly out there in that world. But she would tell me, Deborah, she'd say, well, listen, I go here to wash, and the sinks, I block them up and I get under it and run the water, and that's my shower.
Exactly.
The store was so big, I can take everything off and get a good shower and change my clothes. And I would wash my clothes in that sink and put them in the plastic bag wet just to get out of there. But I would go close to where that park is and hang my clothes up on the low branches of a tree and let it air dry. I'm like, man, it's a whole different world out there.
Yes.
Even homeless, she kept herself clean. And she knew the tricks of the street. There was another woman who was phenomenal, that she lived out of her suitcase. And she hid her suitcases somewhere, because she had a change of clothes that the rotation was that she every 2 or 3 weeks before you saw the same outfit. And you can tell before she took the fall that she did that she was a woman of standing, because the way she kept herself so meticulous. Her hair was pulled back. Okay, it was relaxed, but it was pulled back. She had makeup on. Not that she needed it. You know, she was a middle-aged woman, but the shoes she had on and the dignity that she maintained, even though I knew. See, nobody, if she sat next to you, you would never notice she was homeless.
Right.
But I was in the street all day or late afternoon into the wee hours. I saw the movement of the street, and I knew what it was all about.
Right.
And there was a time when I had purchased some food at the end of one of the other routes, and we never talked. But I offered it to her. She said, no, it's okay. It's okay. She was one of those who were like, I'm going to do this on my own.
I'm going to get out of this mess. Yes.
Yeah. She never depended on me for anything. But I was so surprised because on one of the layovers, I had told Mrs. Scurv, I said, man, I'm out of juice. I didn't bring enough, but I'll tough it but I still have a little food. And when we got to the end of the other route, Deborah, the homeless woman, got off and went and bought me a half a gallon of orange juice out of her own money.
See?
Because she overheard me. And I took it. And I hugged her. And I did more for her in the coming weeks. Because another thing that I would do was that toward the end of the day, there were people who worked in restaurants, and they would have like extra pizza, extra chicken, extra this, extra that. And they'd give it to me. And at the time, I wasn't eating that stuff, but I would wait till I got downtown and I would hand it to the people who needed it. And that was a good feeling, but you just never know. But what I mean to say is that you can take a fall, but there's certain things that you're not going to allow yourself.
That's it. If it's ingrained in you. Yes.
Yeah. I don't care where I am. I'm going to shave.
Yeah.
I'm just a guy who shaves. I don't like to, I'm not saying I hate hair, but I feel itchy. I got to shave. Some people, there might be some scruff muffins out there and I call them that. I'm not making fun if you want to have your hairy face. I just can't do that. I just feel cleaner that way. Shave my head and shave my face. And, I started shaving my head when I had a full head of hair. Now, sometimes it starts to grow out. I'm like, I ain't letting that grow out. And I shave it back down again. It ain't as bad as I say, but I say, yeah, I am getting older. I went 2 days without shaving, and I didn't see any hair that had any color in it. I'm like, man, I look like Santa Claus in a week. Let me shave this hair off.
Shame on you.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And Melissa, you're right. The pink ones. Because let me tell you something. In that respect, you got to say to yourself, didn't nobody tell them how to dispose of that? Because there have been situations where on different jobs, you're responsible for maintenance and different things, and you're emptying out a garbage can, and you're like, wait a second, all these white women working up in here, and they don't even get a plastic and wrap it in and make it where you can't see it and wrap it around it.
They're just nasty, man.
And just put it there. So you better have gloves on, and if you don't have gloves on, you better be watching where you put your hand, or you're gonna have strawberry syrup on that bad boy. Let's put it that way. You see what I mean? And these are white women who will clutch their bag when they see me, push their nose up when they see a sister, and act so superior, and they don't know how to get rid of their damn rag. Right. We know what it is now. I mean, we know the human anatomy. We're not mad at that, but have some respect in how you carry yourself.
Exactly.
As a man,
as a woman.
And as a man, a lot of men walk around looking for orifices to get into. And that dominates their thoughts. But guess what? As small as that orifice is, and as good as the aim that they have, which comes up with the pregnancies that I see walking around here, they know how to aim right in that hole. But how the hell you can't aim right in the toilet bowl, and you piss up the seat and you piss up the floor, and you have regard for somebody who's coming behind you?
Tell it.
As big as that hole is in the toilet bowl,
that's deliberate.
That's your penis the right way.
That's deliberate. You know how you see these little boys. You see little boys, and they're in the bathroom, and they aim all around the toilet bowl. You know what I mean? And that's exactly what they grow into. They grow into men who aim all over. Yeah.
when I was driving the bus, we had a stop called Washington Shores, and they had all the garbage cans there. It's a black neighborhood, but I got to tell it like it is. How come all around the garbage can that was not full, all the garbage was thrown around on the ground?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the first thing a lot of our own black folks be, don't be disrespecting me, man. Don't disrespect me. Well, look what you're doing to your neighborhood. You disrespecting your neighbors, your children, the look of your neighborhood, and you wonder why your property values are plummeting as high as the other neighborhood for people who don't look like us. Because you know what? I'm not saying all of them are clean, because you got trailer park trash. You got, them kind of neighborhoods going on.
Yeah.
Don't be mad. You do it yourself.
You ever ask yourself, why is it? And I mean, this is a general question, and I know, to some degree the answer. But you ever ask yourself, why is it that you can always tell our neighborhood? You could be driving along a street and you go across a main highway and you go up on the other side where we live. Like take Dixie Highway, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
You go over Dixie Highway, even if you're on the Intercoastal, it's not going to be like the wreck deck when you go over Federal. You know what I'm saying? Like that spot between Dixie. I mean, I'm going real south now, so I don't know if you have that up, but I don't remember. But no, you wouldn't, because Orlando is landlocked. But you have Dixie Highway, and you have Federal Highway, right? But the spot in between Dixie and Federal, that's where we live. Right?
And there's something.
And you can tell. You've just entered the black neighborhood.
You know it.
Why?
And why should it be? It's not like, we're trying to be white. No, you're trying to be clean. Like I said, we are on a higher vibration, or we should be. But we've fallen to the point where, when you do see, I'm not saying anybody here because we're a little more intelligent than that, hopefully. But when you do see a clean neighborhood where the curb is swept and the lawn is cut, and you don't see all kind of garbage or chairs lined up where people who have got nothing to do, or they just sitting around. When you see this kind of thing, and it's real clean, hedges are cut, everything's done. Venetian blinds are new or well kept. Man, this a black neighborhood? I thought this was a white neighborhood. So why you got to say that this is a white neighborhood? Because see, you're used to the standard of what we do to be so much lower.
Exactly.
And it shouldn't be that way.
Exactly.
It shouldn't be that way. So we giving them props on how low we fell.
That reminds me, I got to go to Home Depot.
Right. But it should be, when we see that well-groomed neighborhood, that we know it's a black neighborhood.
Exactly.
And you know what I love? When the oppressor, the pink parasites, come around to do maybe an estimate or to do something in a neighborhood they're not used to coming into, and they see how nice the house is kept. It doesn't have to be rolling grounds of a mansion.
Exactly.
But they see the love and attention to detail. And remember, these people who are contractors, they go in lots of people's homes. So they don't think too much when they come in a black neighborhood, but when they come to a neighborhood that they don't know might be mixed, and they go to a black house. And a black face opens the door. What's the first thing that they say that they actually tell on themselves? Oh my God, I have to say that I am so impressed by the way you keep your yard and the way you keep your house, which is an invert diss. Because they wouldn't say that much if a white face opened up that door, but niggas ain't supposed to have nothing nice. So basically, you shocked me when I saw your black face, because your black face didn't match what I'm used to seeing, where the white homes are kept nicer. Not always, but that's the expectation. Don't let it be one of our own black contractors lots of times. Why? They come there and see you got the nerve. They don't say this, but you know they thinking this, right? You got the nerve to try to keep your place like this, and you want a price from me, and you got estimate that was not based on a visit, but you know the general price of the work that has to be done. But nigga, you gonna pay for it because we're gonna tack another $1,000 on this because who the hell you think you are? So you must got money, so you gonna damn pay.
Exactly. That's true.
You see what I mean?
That's true.
The expectations.
Yeah.
And you're going to be a victim to it depending on the person that's coming around by the way you keep your house or your apartment. Because
or your yard. You know.
Exactly. Exactly. They see your yard nice and you out there doing it and they slow down because they ask you, can you find is the owner home? What am I? The yard work? What am I? The help? Come on. I own this place, damn it. This is what we do. Ain't that something?
Yeah. I know.
So they think that you just somebody hired to go do something, which that kind of work is not wrong. Like I say, all work is edifying. You're doing something fairly to earn money. You're not sticking nobody up. You're not robbing nobody. You're not trying to slick nobody out of no money. No, there's no shame in any kind of work that you do, but you should try to always improve. But the stigma lives on.
Exactly.
The stigma lives on with these people, and you can tell by their reactions because reactions are never rehearsed. That quick expression that you caught of disgust or envy or jealousy that they quickly mask, but you so sharp you can see it.
You see it. That's right.
Or when they're shocked to see who you are, you're going for a job interview and you were speaking to the person over the phone, and they don't know what kind of the name is that you have.
Yes. Yes.
And when you show up, they ask you, and they do a double take. Mr. Scurvin, hey, that's what I talk on the phone. You know what I am. I don't hide that. I talk the way I talk. I mean, there's more of a New York accent, but I'm not nasal with it. Well, hello, my name is LanceScurv, and I would like the position in an interview. And I'm thinking, considering, because I really admire your company. No, I'm not doing that. You know. And sometimes they couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
Well, can I ask you something, Mr. Scurvin? This is a bit personal. What is the origin of your name? Because we don't hear this name all the time.
Right.
You're a nigga with a strange name.
Exactly.
It should be Smith or Johnson or this or that. Green.
I'm from Sweden.
I mean, the prior oppressors that got in my bloodline, it's a Scotland thing.
Right.
Hence the name, and many people didn't know. And I'm not sitting here, we know that we've been all, mixed in our family tree, what we've been through. But Archibald Sterling, it's Sterling, spelled Stirling. He's a great. I don't know how many greats are in there, but he's my great grandfather. He has a Wikipedia page. He was a very famous Scottish pastel artist. He did portraits.
Right.
That's what he specialized in. So a lot of people are like, oh, that's why you're artistic. Whatever. No, I ain't claiming all. That's too diluted. Let me give credit to the brother that's faceless that I can't trace the name back. Right. So he had a son who found out how lucrative the slave trade was and jumped in on it and ended in Jamaica and had slaves and actually married one of the slaves. And we don't know the name of that faceless woman who was a slave to him that he married. I guess he gave her non-slavery props. And that's how phonetically the Scurvin name had changed so many times.
Right.
There are instances where the actual name Sterling, as in sterling silver, is connected to that name. And there are probably about 25 different spellings that phonetically sound the same, but we didn't have computers back then. So that's the name, but I'm black. And that's the different thing. But that was the only branch on the family tree that they can trace back that far to the 1600s. You see what I mean?
Exactly.
So Archibald Sterling is and that Sterling name is a precursor. I think they spelled it with a STIR. Let me see if I could find it.
And you could tell them about your family tree if they want to go check it out.
Oh yeah, because we have it on the website. Yeah. Okay, artist. Yeah, I'll pull up that page because it's on LanceScurv.com under Scurvin genealogy. Okay, here it is. Archibald Sterling, 1867. No, that's not him. That's too recent. There's one from years back. Archibald Sterling. Okay, yeah, I got it. 1710 to 1783. But there was intel on his people before that. I find this. Okay, that's him. This is weird. So I ain't out here like somebody who, yeah, I'm related to somebody white. I'm not saying that. But he was a dope artist. And I'm going to pull up the actual genealogy page. And he has a Wikipedia page that you can see. So this is somebody who, lives on right now through me. but it is what it is.
It is what it is. Exactly.
And the other one that I can say, and I'm going to pull up LanceScurv and genealogy. I'll drop that so you can I'll just say be nosy in the bad boy and look at it and whatnot. It's been proven that all McCoys in Jamaica are related. It's not like, well, there's a McCoy over there and there's McCoy over here. And Colin Powell comes from that. So Colin Powell technically is my cousin. I never hit him up like, hey, Colin, man, you're doing good, man. Hook me up with with some money. Nah. I don't know him. He doesn't know that.
Right.
I found that out, and that's just what it is. And okay, here it is. This is the whole bloodline coming up to right now on the site, and he did a detailed job. Although he was it's Archibald Scurving also was another spelling of it. So now I'm gonna pull that up, and hopefully that's still there. So you see how the name changed? Archibald Scurving. Okay, now that's the one that I'm used to seeing. Here it is. So you can see phonetically with Scurvin and Scurving.
Right.
The way the birth certificate is SCURVIN, but the way it is here is SKIRVING.
Okay.
That's him. And hopefully the other one I pulled up was him also, but that's the one right there. And with the genealogy, I pulled that up. Where is it? Okay, here it is. This is the one that tells he did a job. He talked about all through Jamaica and that particular side of the bloodline, the people, what they did for a living, who they got with, how many kids they had. Some of them they married again. And, it was in detail. So, here it is. So that's my bloodline going back as far as he could trace it down that,
Right.
And he gave him props, and he came onto a show earlier this year. And I was like, wow, man, I'm glad you're here. Let me tell everybody about you. This is a white man, lives in Canada, has a Black Jamaican wife. He came onto the shows when I first started doing it from 10 years ago. And I'm giving him props. I wasn't looking at the chat room. Homeboy starts coming at me. Oh, you think you know so damn much. I'm like, what happened to you, man? Don't get me into the get the pink parasite mentality.
Right.
I'm being fair. He asked me, he said, man, because I would always talk about my parents and different things, and that's what he did. So he said, well, listen, can I do your genealogy? I said, sure. But see, he already did it. The next day he had it. So I put it up, and I appreciated that, and we kind of lost contact, and maybe he didn't like the way I talk because I always talk like this.
Right.
Never have I not did my artwork, my writing, my shows all reflect me. But I always have people come on and talk. So all of a sudden, why are you going to get mad at me now?
Exactly.
You're trying to come in and diss me on my own show. So I got up in ass though. But it took it shocked me. I said, how dare you come up in here like this? And I was cool with you. I thought we were cool. But that shows you something about them. That as long as you are where they think you should be, you're all right with them. But the minute you ascend, maybe he saw the whole platform, how much it grew, and he didn't like it.
Maybe
some little dude, and I'm not knocking anybody who may have a smaller web presence, because there are people that make me look like a flea, and I'm cool with that. That's just the way it is. I'm not trying to be famous or something. I'm just doing what I do, and if you come and get down with it, fine. But sometimes when they see the support and love of your people behind you, and you grew, and you're doing something with it, and you can be yourself and be free, they got to put some kind of shackles on you. They got to have something on you, or they got to know that they can limit your movement. And you got to come to them for validation and permission at the end of the day. You can go on and be a little militant nigger all you want, but at the end of the day, you got to come to me to be able to do more or continue what you do, because we have the power to shut you down. They can shut my YouTube channel down, but they ain't stopping LanceScurv.com or the other things that I do. They're not doing it.
Exactly.
And I'm wise enough to set it up that way. And they don't think that. You're too free. What do you mean you want to leave the United States? You're supposed to be happy with the crumbs that we have afforded you. You can't think of yourself as a global citizen. You must stick in America and stick to nigger business all up and down from the east to west to north to south. We are the global citizens. We will go to Africa. We will do business. We will make money, and we'll tell you about it. You want to have white folks look at you funny? Be an American black person and get on a plane to Africa. The majority of what you have on that plane will be black, but it'll be a lot of native-born Africans, and there will be some people from America, but don't be that conscious-looking person that you give a double take when you see the white person on the plane, like, the hell are you going over there for? Oh, there's a conscious. So now they're going to look at you like, what do you, like the secret's up?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And when you see at the airport how many white people get off that plane, you're like, what the hell?
Where y'all going?
Telling you how nice it is. They ain't telling you how rich the soil is.
No, but they see, they just.
Yeah. When I took my walk earlier, and there's a shortcut to get where I had to go, it's funny because I was going to take a picture of the soil. When I walked over the soil, because it rained, as you well know, so hard for a few days. So I walked over the soil, which looked to be not very dry, but it was moist because it was raining.
Right.
But I felt I can walk on it. And I walked and my feet immediately sunk 3 inches into the soil.
Oh, wow.
And it was slippery. And I did the I'm not going to fall dance. I mean, I was supposed to fall. Almost at one point, my face was almost like 1 foot away from the ground, but I had twisted myself around. I thought I had a tail like a cat or a squirrel.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So when I got to the destination, they were like, Lance, you can go over there by the hose and clean your shoes off. I said, thank you so much. Because it was like my sneakers were two-tone.
Oh my God.
But the soil, I had to step over to the side and look at this soil. And I saw life in this soil. The soil was so rich.
Yes.
Not that I would do this. But I know that soil had more nutrition in it than a McDonald's Big Mac. It had minerals in it. It had vitamins in it. It had things that man don't even know about.
Yes.
Known and unknown. And I said, this is why they don't want us to be here.
That's
Not
it.
just because of the dirt, but because of the rich resources and the sun beating down on it. And remember, Ghana in particular, 0 latitude and 0 longitude. Who chose this place to be the center of the world? And why did they choose this place to start their marking of the planet that way? What did they know that we don't know? Because we know they did it. And if they didn't do it, and we still know the reason for it. Eden. Yes.
Yes, indeed. Yes.
Yes.
Eden. They know it. They know it. It has everything there.
Yes.
They know it.
It is something when you see things for yourself that show you the real deal and you can't be in denial anymore. And when you repeat these things that you've experienced, that's the receipt of it right there. That's all the proof you need. But some people will stick their head deeper into the sands of denial to not see reality for what it is. But those are the people who always have to go through the earth and look side-eyed because what they see the same things we see, but they reject it because they want reality to be a different way.
Yes.
And I have no time for that. I have no time to fabricate a false reality, whether it's where I live or the people around me or whatever. I see it so clear. I can't help it. I'm not going to leave this plane living a lie and being in denial.
Exactly.
Even if I have to reveal things about me to me that I might be burying. And I don't think there's too much I have buried. I've told a lot on the show, and I've damn sure said a lot in private conversations. I'm very much aware of where my blip is on the radar screen.
Right, right.
That's why my emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual blade is very sharp. And I cut through me just as much as I will cut through somebody else who might be in denial. It's not just I'm this person who knows all of this and I'm going to tell you. No, because I have to not struggle. I welcome in my meditation for me to see what I have inside as what the world would say in general, inner demons. I don't like to refer to it that way. It's just internal house cleaning.
Right. Right.
And so many people go through a whole lifetime without taking the garbage out.
Exactly.
They walk with imagine all the garbage we done made physically in our kitchen and in our house, and we throw it out and whatever. Imagine you walk with that. Well, in actuality, we throw away the physical garbage,
but the emotional stuff.
If you really look at it with certain people that we know, I'm not saying certain people like I'm throwing off on anybody here. I'm just saying certain people that we've known in our life that when we met them, everything was hunky-dory. Everything was so wholesome because that's the mask that they showed you. But when you got to know them, you realize that they didn't take out the garbage in their life. So guess what?
Yes.
You have all of these symbolic, invisible, hefty bags of dysfunction. Some are carrying 2 bags. Some are carrying 10. Some got to make a couple trips and bring a truck because they got 800 bags.
That's a frightening thought, you know.
Of the scars of past relationships, of the scars of what happened to them in childhood, of the scars of what they don't want to see in their family or in their friends or in themselves. They don't want to take out the garbage, so they grin and bear it and bear this weight. While when you ask, how's everything doing? Everything's okay.
Yes.
Yeah, right. And some people can say that because things are okay for some of us. But for many of us and too many of us, and I don't know the proportion, but a lot of us are walking around carrying our bags from one situation to the other. So you go to the club and dress yourself up. You go to the church and dress yourself up. And people want to see who this handsome, well-spoken man is. Or people want to see who this pretty woman is who's dressing so nice and carries herself so ladylike. You be careful because when you get with that person, you inherit their damn bags.
That's true. That's true. You know, that's a very, for me, that's a very frightening thought.
Scary.
You know, that we project a certain image. You know what I'm saying? That for a lot of us, we clearly are not. You know what I mean? And for me personally, I don't ever want to be in the company of someone and then they're like, "Oh, you're not exactly what I thought you were." You know what I mean? I don't want that. So what you see is what you get. You know, I still have baggage, but they're not 10, garbage bags.
Right. No, but look, in this life, you're not born in a sterile environment. They may say that when you're physically born in the hospital room, if you were born in a hospital room, but nobody is really born into a sterile environment. The main thing is that we're all born into some measure of dysfunction.
Oh, yeah.
We're all born into some measure of dysfunction.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, as much as I give my parents props, my mother had a son before she met my father, and he's been on drugs all his life. And not because of something she didn't do, but the dysfunction that I saw was that, she loved him, and sometimes she'd give him a break and enable him. You know?
Right.
And there were times when he came around, he's 11 years older than me. There were times he came around and I might have been, and one time that really hurt me, because I'm not going to try to paint this perfect childhood within what it was, with him not there, it was damn near perfect. But, the old Planters peanut can that had the yellow lid.
Yeah.
It was dark navy blue. And that was perfect for U.S. currency to sit on the side like a roll of money. You put it in there empty, and you can put the lid back on. And so I would save my comic book convention money for that. You see, in New York and really all over in major cities and beyond, but back then you didn't have it in the smaller cities. It was like New York and Los Angeles or Chicago or Pennsylvania. You had comic book conventions. And there you would get a chance to meet the artists, like at Marvel Comics, DC Comics, and they had other smaller comic lines, and they would have a booth. You got to talk to them, take pictures with them. This is another part of my childhood that I was really into, because hardly ever a comic book convention until I got out of the comics, I wouldn't go to from like 8, 9, 10 years old. Now I knew more about it when I was 13, 14, but then, girls kicked in and bodybuilding kicked in and boxing. So in those sweet years, the big thing with other friends of mine who are artists, especially, they say, we're going to save money for that comic book convention that's coming in the fall.
Right.
We cut lawns and we'd save a little allowances. And I had the advantage because my father had his own business. He would overpay me for coming with him, right? just to instill. Like back in the 70s, for a kid, a child, a boy child, to go with his father somewhere and he's doing heavy work. And he said, well, just go to the store for me and buy this, or, sweep over there. And he'd ride me a little bit. No, you got to do a little better than that. He made me earn it, but he didn't put me to heavy work.
Right.
He would feed me. He'd take me around. He'd buy. If I said, Daddy, I want to get that comic book, he'd buy it. And he'd still give me $20. You know what $20 was to a 12-year-old boy, 11-year-old boy back in the 70s?
What?
That was
$1 million. That was $1 million.
Shoot.
That was $1 million.
So he was giving me a 20 here, a 20 there. And so, and not to get off the topic, I'm just reliving some childhood memories. Sometimes during the week, he would come in like really late when everybody's already asleep because he'd have to finish up a job by a certain deadline. So he might come in 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm half asleep and I'd hear him. But I learned to perk my ear up. Why? Because he wouldn't come into his bedroom with my mother and like take his pants off. He just took his pants off. He had this work closet where the clothes weren't dirty. If it was, he put it in the hamper, or if it was something he wore to just do a light part to end the job, he'd hang back up and say, I could wear that back again tomorrow. So he would stand up in this other room that was near the bathroom, a general bathroom.
Right.
And he took his pants off. He had his boxers on. So he would always forget. And he would have his pants, you take it off and he'd grab it by the ankles to fold it. And the belt was still, you'd take the belt out and you put it over the hanger. But when he would turn it upside down, guess what?
All the money would fall.
All of his change would hit the ground. Quarters and dimes and nickels and pennies. And the game was, if you drop it, Daddy, I'm waking up and I'm snatching it up. Lots of times he put change, lots of it in his pocket, and did that. I know he did that. Because while he made that noise and all the change dropping out, he was laughing. So I know he did that. So I grabbed up, man. I must have grabbed. And who walks around with $15 worth of change in their pockets?
Exactly.
He did that for me because one time he dropped it and he looked around by the stairwell. He didn't see me. I was looking, but it let me know that he's doing this on purpose. So bottom line is with the story, I saved up all this money, and I think I really and truly in that situation over months.
Hold on a second. Hold on.
Sure.
Teresa, I don't know when you came into this chat, but I think you're a whole lot late. So, Brother Lance, if you want to do the honors, it's entirely up to you.
Well, it's already done. You know what I mean? And, that's how they do. Like I said, you can only do what they want you to do. You know what I mean? Like going by the avatar, maybe that's not the case, but we hanging out. That's what we do. This is our flavor here. If somebody says, what am I going to do? Just tell the story in 5 seconds? You ain't going to enjoy it. So this is how we do. When we have a guest come on, or actually family who the world was, that's a guest. No, it's family that comes on. What do? We let them talk.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
That's how we do. So anyway, I would save this money, but I think I saved up like $500. Come on, 20. all this change,
Yeah.
cutting along. I mean, we were hustling, and friends of ours, we do moving jobs. And we were strong little kids, but we found out with other people, well, if it's not too heavy, we'll come with you and just pay us. Or it's a short little hour. Well, okay, you gave us $10. Well, no problem. Everything we stopped going to the ice cream man. They're like, the ice cream man was like, we don't like when you're saving up for the convention because you never spend money with us no more. So we don't come down this block as much. But anyway, going back to the dysfunction that I dealt with, I hid this thing. I didn't have to hide it from my parents, but there was a ornate ledge high up molding that I put the Planters peanut can with the ever increasing money in it, which ended up being $500. That was my goal. And I put it up there. My brother came around for a visit. And when he left, me knowing that he was on substances, I went and looked for it and it was gone.
Oh, man.
And my mother, like I said, sweetest person in the world, did everything right, but she had a soft spot to enable him and cover for him. Not in a venomous way, but I said, Mommy, the money's gone. I said, where could it have gone? Nobody came here except my brother. I mean, I would have said his name, but I said my brother just to say.
Right,
you know?
right.
And she said to me, why did you leave it out? That was about as much dysfunction as I had to deal with, because in other words, you know he's going to steal. No, it should be he should not steal.
Exactly.
But because she had a soft spot, and you know what? She made sure within a week or two, I don't know where she got it from, but she got a Planters peanut thing and put other money in there. And I know it was other money because I had a lot of singles in there. And I had another bag for change, but it was even bank money. It was too crisp, too clean. She went to the bank and drew it out and replaced it. She took the weight for something he should take the weight for.
That's a mom. That's a mother.
Exactly. So what do I specialize in when I see households? I specialize in those dysfunctional mothers. I could smell them a mile away. I'm not knocking, because that's a mother's love.
Right.
But then what I began to understand is how my older brother knew how to manipulate her. It is that I don't like. That kind of manipulation where I know you love me. I know you're going to cover for me. I know you enable me, and I know you'll even almost not lie, but you'll hide the truth for me. So I'm going to skedaddle and do what I want to do it because I know you're going to cover me, which hurt other people in your midst. Now, for me, it wasn't anything major. It was just annoying stuff because my father didn't go for that. See, and that was not his blood son, but he took him as his son, but he rejected that with the "you ain't my daddy" mentality.
Right.
So that was about as much as I had to deal with. And the times he came back and tried to live clean, but found out that he didn't live clean. And, you know, he had to get a room somewhere close by, but my mother paid for it. And she'd buy a TV for him. And instead of saying, listen, nigga, you better act straight. That's why he couldn't come around certain times.
Right.
So I know, and I know the height of the dysfunction, because there was a time we left out. There was a lake in I can't say upstate, but upstate New York, but just not too far upstate. And it was called Lake Sebago. You can Google it. It's Sebago. And my father used to love to go there because on a certain back part, you can go fish and get these little fish. And you could also, there was a beach part, but it wasn't the beach per se, but it had sand. It was a artificial man-made beach. So the kids can be on the beach and the older folks can go on a boat and fish, and you could find your level of what you wanted to do. So my brother knew that we were going to Sebago Lake. So we didn't go up there and turn around and come back.
Right.
We go from early at the crack of dawn and come back late at night. And when we came back, we'd have several joint compound buckets, you know, because we clean those out and you'd have the water and we throw the fish in there live. So whenever we came back, the people in the neighborhood, especially if we did it on the weekend, they up late and some like, yeah, Mr. Lance, we waiting for you to come back home to see what you caught because we know we're going to get a couple of them fish now, right? Some of them would do the same for us, but we weren't clocking them for it.
Right.
So when we came in, the next door neighbor met us at his door and he said, listen, you need to check your window on the side.
Oh,
Something
man.
happened. Yeah. So we checked the window and the window was smashed out on the first floor bathroom. But again, I have to say, I did not grow up in this kind of household where it was traumatic. It was just a few little incidents that was very shocking. And so the window was knocked out. See, some people don't think like somebody was inside and broke the window out. Remember that point.
Mm-hmm.
So now we see my brother coming down the street and he was acting upset. And he said that he ran into a guy about a mile away in a bar trying to sell the TV that we yet to discover was not there. So he said he confronted the guy because he knew that that was our TV. And he punched the guy. And the front window of the bar shattered. But he couldn't get the TV because the guy ran out or something. He kicked him and, the guy kicked him and knocked him down and he ran out and the TV's gone. No, the reality of the situation is he took that TV and he tried to botch a story up where the window of the bar was knocked through, but that window of the bar had a crack in it from something else and it was taped up temporarily for the last few weeks. So you say it was knocked out, but it's still the same way it's been.
Right.
And if somebody broke in the house, the glass would be in the bathtub where that window was, and the glass wouldn't be outside, stupid.
Exactly.
You came in with a key, broke the glass, thinking, oh, they broke the glass to get in. But if I'm outside and I break the glass to get in, it ain't going to fly past me over my shoulder and go on the side of the house. You a stupid fool.
Oh, God.
You can't even be a criminal, right? And he was college educated. I'm not saying this to to shame him, but that's reality. And I'm not gonna lie, but I love my childhood. I had the most closest to perfect childhood and the most loving parents.
Wow.
But there are things, and I'm saying that and I'm burying my soul to show that even I grew up with a measure of dysfunction.
Yes.
You understand? So that made me, in the lessons my father taught me, of how to walk upright. So I would never get into the drug thing. That's why it was okay for me in my mind to have 50 million girlfriends, which wasn't right. No, it wasn't. My father didn't teach me that. But I'm thinking that was a lesser of two evils. Well, I'm not putting no substances in my body. It feels good and they pretty and they nice to get next to. And we can do all kind of things that feel good. And I was a romantic kid. I used to really, there wasn't a sex thing. I used to just love them pretty girls when I was young.
Right.
I was 13, 14, looking at grown women. They looked like the 50-foot women to me when they had the heels on. And I said, man, they looked like they were like 2 stories high, right? I said, man, if I could only have one of them and let them know how much I love them and hug them and kiss them. It wasn't about
my goodness.
And then Major Harris would come on, the time is right, hold me tight. And I'm looking at them so romantic. It wasn't like just sex. It was just, I want to show them that I love them. Now the next one would come down the street. Oh, I want to show her. I want to love her too. Oh, look at this one. She looks sad. I want to I want to love all of them.
Boy.
Romantically. I don't know what it meant. I didn't know that. Well,
And
when you
did.
And you did. Yeah, I didn't know. But that's my wiring. I love women. And I want to make them feel good, like make them laugh and tell them how pretty they are. And this is me as a budding young man. When I learned the other things, oh my God, we know how that goes. We won't even go there. But it was never venomous. It was innocent.
Yes.
But it was my drug. But
have you been dried out? Did you go to rehab?
I rehabbed myself. I was burned out for a while, I'll tell you that much. I didn't need no rehab. Like I said, I'll make one noise and you'll know what I mean by that, right? I'm gonna make this one noise.
That's all you had left.
I told you that. Exactly. You young man, first time is cool, second time is cool, third time, fourth time you pushing it, but the fifth time, that's all. Ain't no more.
It done.
Here.
It done. It finished.
And you know what?
No more, no left.
It felt like a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
And just from you ever see in a close-up, like fine photography in the National Geographic magazine, some magazine, and they have a high-resolution photo of that one raindrop that lands on a leaf, and the raindrop is so round
and perfect.
Yeah, well, that's what came out. So I thought it was more than that. That's all.
That's it. That's all she wrote.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. So I didn't need that. You know what I mean? You're right, Mr. Conversation. We're due for a comedy night.
Yes, we are. I don't know what is going on with Brother Lance. He's
yeah, for real. No,
he's slipping.
It's slipping into darkness. That's the sleep getting me now.
I know.
I will say to Zenobia, yes, it took her off this plane when she really faced it.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah.
You can know the whole story. And she really, really loved him. Yeah. And he had so much promise. He's still alive. He had so much promise because I gotta give him props on his good attributes. Not because he was college educated. But my brother could sit down with the people on the street corner and bedazzle them with just that Donald Goines, Iceberg Slim book type talk. And they're like, damn, he was poetic. He was well-spoken. He had a hell of imagination. I'm saying this in a way like it's almost past tense because the substances took him away from me.
Yes.
Always yearned for that relationship with him. Yeah. And things would be all right for a little while, and then they wouldn't be all right for a little while. He wasn't around. The times he came home and he might have been straight for a month or two was heaven for me as a little boy who I'm always going to be 11 years younger. So he's got to be 69 years old right now.
Right.
And I haven't seen him since 1998.
Oh my God.
And I'm the most accessible person in there. I know he knows about Google, and I know he sees me.
Of course.
There's an amount of shame that I know he's feeling. Well, so I say, brother, I love you, and there are a lot of things you did that I was very angry about for many years, but I want to see you. I love you.
Exactly.
I want to see you. You're my brother. Your mother, which is my mother, passed on. My father passed on, but you know him very well, and he loved you too. Yeah, he wasn't going for your ways. But even your blood father, I knew him. He was a detective at the precinct on 135th Street in Harlem. My mother was a pretty young thing, naive, just out of Juilliard School of Music. She could have been a model. She was a dead ringer for her cousin that was on the cover of Jet magazine back in the 50s.
Right.
Colette Warren was a model. She was on, and the Warren on my mother's side, that's one of the main names in the family on my mother's side.
Right.
Let me see if I can spell this name right and pull up that Jet magazine cover. So, I all in my bloodline. That was I pulled up some white chick. I got to put Jet magazine behind that one. How come when you Googling somebody black, you always pull up some bad fish?
I know.
There she go, right there. There she go. That is, how would you say it? As far as I opened it up. Let me go back. Here it is. I got it. Okay, here it is. Hold on. Jet magazine. August 29th, 1957. I'm going to pull up the link. Let me see if I can. Yeah. She's not my cousin, my same age. It would be what, second cousin, whatever. It was my mother's cousin. And I mean, I didn't really know her, Oh shit. Oops, excuse my language.
Well, they can Google it. Google is there.
They don't know what to look at. No, this is what I found. I'm going to pull up the whole image search page, and then I'm going to hit the link that is supposed to go right to that.
She's the first 3 on the thing. What? One,
okay,
two,
I found it on Pinterest, I think. Okay, here it is. I found it. So it's going to actually be a Pinterest link. And I haven't, I got to, in writing things about my life, I got to kind of tie these things in together. Okay, there she is. And I think there's another, I think she landed another cover.
She had, didn't she have 3 covers?
I think it was 3. I know it was 2.
Yeah.
Okay, here's another one. I think. Oh, no, that's Betty Collette.
Chambers.
Yeah. But Coletta Warren, I'm sorry, Coletta, New York model shows the newest for theater dates. That's my mother's cousin. So that's my blood right there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so.
She was gorgeous. Oh, my God.
Yeah. So growing up, being the fact that she came out of Juilliard School, the people that continued on with things that they wanted to do, but she raised my brother and she stepped back a little bit. She traveled the world, with the Hall Johnson Choir. Let me see if I can Google that. That was a big thing. And the Hall Johnson Choir was around for like decades. So different people came in. So the 1930s version is not where she was, in. Hall Johnson Choir. So I'm used to going to rehearsals and different things. So if you pull up a photo, you may see her, you may not, because like I said, it's like, like with the Temptations where certain members left and the other ones came in and the guy with the bass left and this one came in. The Temptations are not the Temptations that everybody knows. It's like different. So as I comb through, now this might be, this might be a photo that she might be in. Because as time goes on, more and more people upload things.
Yeah, that's true.
You sometimes recheck.
Right.
But I had a lot of photos like this of the group. I have to find out what year this was because there's all these different photos now that I never saw before that I'm quite sure I might find my mother in. That were in a photo album. You see what I mean? That was nothing to me because that's just a photo. You don't know. And now when your loved one is transitioned, it all becomes more and more precious.
Yes, it does. Yes.
So what I'm going to do, instead of wasting time on the show.
What's it called? Hall Johnson, Hall?
Yeah, Hall Johnson. Yeah, Hall Johnson Choir. And search the images because you'll find, oh my God, I found my mother.
Holy
shit. Look at this.
Well,
oh my God, look at this. Oh my God, can I open this better? Oh yes, I can. I gotta share this with y'all. See, I couldn't find this before. My mother is on the far left side in the front row. Oh my God. Look.
What?
Wait, I just dropped it in the room. Oh my God, look at this. Wait.
Hold on.
Okay, look at it. That first photo on the top.
Yeah.
That's my mother right there. I told you she was part of this thing. And tell me when you get it in the room, family.
It's there.
Yeah. Let me mute myself and get Mrs. Scurv over here. I'll be right back. Just keep talking a little bit.
Keep talking. I'm looking too.
I'll be back in like 90 seconds. I just wanted to peek on this. I can't believe this.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God. Let's see. Oh, my goodness. Did everyone... Oh, this is such a weird feeling. Is everyone transfixed? Oh my gosh. I have to come back into the chat room. Is everyone go ahead, hit the link, guys. Hit the link right there. Lance just shared the link, so go ahead and hit the link and let him tell us where exactly we need to look. Are you there, Lance?
Yeah, I'm here. You see the man in the middle with the tuxedo, with the bow tie,
Yeah.
Well, look to the far left. And the woman standing in the front row to the far left, that's my mother.
At the very end?
Yeah, on the left side.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
That's her. Just like the photo when I was a little kid and I was at the doctor's office.
Yes,
and I was a little older then, but yeah, now a lot of these people who were in the choir at that particular time, they went on to be like, you know, in plays and in movies and, you know, different parts. Now, I remember because like I said, she was fresh out of Juilliard. So she got with them and that's hard to get into that. You got to have a voice on you. Now, I'm going to tell you, she had a hell of a voice. She was a contralto and can go deeper, but that was her thing, singing. She sung opera in several different languages. And I just can't believe I got this photo. And somebody would look at this and say, But to me, that means so much because a lot of the people in the photo, as they got older and still kept in contact, they were concerts and different things. I remember their faces as a child.
Right.
There was a guy who was I think he was also in the Whole Johnson Choir, but he did other things. I forgot what his name was, but the guy that played Blackula, the Black Vampire.
Yeah, you told us. Yeah.
He used to call the house all the time. You know, and I met him when I was real young, they tell me, but you know, so Virginia Capers, she was an actress, always tight, always calling and coming over. But these were people who just came around, and I'm like, I didn't know how, like, at the time, it wasn't like they were superstars the way they have it these days. But these were people who were in the arts and singing and acting and performing and entertaining, the real stuff where you had to work and study and earn. Because my mother around the house singing, she sung in all kind of different languages, and the songs that she sung, they had stories behind it. You know what I mean? So, like I learned so much culture that way. You know, whether it was something that was based in the Italian language, it wasn't about black or white. It was just like my mother was bad. You know what I mean? In a good way. Standing next to her, I know her well, but I couldn't tell you her name. I know her. She always used to give me candy, but she looked a little older when I knew her.
Right.
Wow. And I have some photos here. I have some photos here when she was in Brussels and they were standing on the roof of this building and you saw that this was not New York. And she traveled Switzerland, Brussels, all through Europe, Germany, all this stuff. And that was her upbringing. And my mother's aunt and uncle raised her because her parents died very early. They both died when she was 2 years old. And it wasn't like they died in a car accident, whatever. They both just died separately when she was 2 years old. So she never knew her parents. So her aunt and uncle became her parents, and they were affluent. They had money, but they were hardworking people. And at that time, I think they weren't trying to pass as white, but they could pass as white.
Right.
They weren't trying, but you know, one embarrassing thing for me, you know, I was a little militant boy when my mother's aunt, which was my granddaughter, I guess, would come over. They're like, who that white lady over there? I didn't want to see. I don't know what you talk about, man. but when she had to have a breast removed in 70 77, 76, the blackout year, 77 it was, right?
77, yeah.
Yeah, 77. And she was at Sloan Kettering Hospital. It was a malignant tumor that got out of hand, that she was doing treatment that it wasn't respected in the medical community, but it was like a natural thing, Laetrile. And it ended up being a quack thing, because I remember going every week with my father over the Verrazano Bridge into Staten Island and her getting her treatment. Thing kept getting worse. And when her aunt said, listen, go to Sloan Kettering. We got you. And so I saw an example of how somebody loves you so much that they will pay for you.
Right.
And Sloan Kettering is one of the biggest, most expensive cancer hospitals in the entire world.
Right.
And she said, you're my niece and I love you. I was a little boy. I was a little boy. I was 14. But me being around her and overhearing these conversations on the phone, I was like, wow, who does that?
Yes.
So within 2 days, that next day, she made, because remember, my mother was her daughter in a way, right?
Right.
So she made her go. And we called her auntie, even though to my mother, it was like her mother. When she's auntie, I don't know. I don't want to, it's too much. I remember her saying that. And I remember hearing the phone because one of them old black phones that the only one you had in the living room that when it rung, it woke the whole neighborhood up. So I remember her saying, like, too much what? What are we here for except to help each other and love each other? Don't you ever, I didn't raise you that way. And she said, you go early tomorrow, and she would call. Let me tell you something. Even when right before my mother passed away, see, my mother's aunt passed away a few months before my mother passed away.
Really?
Yeah. So in what she left for my mother, which was probably split up 40 ways, right? They had to redo things over when my mother passed away to give to me and my brother.
Right.
Which we know what he did with it. Bury my soul today. I don't care. We and it's a Friday. I'm home. We'll talk longer, you know. So what happened was, and I lost my train of thought because now I'm deep in memories.
Right.
Yeah. So she made her go, and she went. And the doctor said that if you waited 3 more days,
wow,
the tumor would have spread, busted open, whatever it does, malignant, and there'd be nothing we can do because of the intensity of it. You've been walking around with this thing for a long time, and you've been in pain. So they immediately had to jump her, like, we got to get this out of her now. In 2 days, my aunt and uncle were out there from Ohio, Columbus, Ohio. That's where my mother was raised. But she went to East High School or Eastern High School. I'm just dropping it because people will know. They were there, and they had their mobile home that they drove. You know, my aunt and uncle, he was an engineer, and they were packing. You know what I mean? But they were conservative. So it was a big thing in the block, like, oh my God, y'all got one of those? Or your mother's aunt got one of those? And they parked it. It took up, you know, about 40 feet long, as the size of a city bus.
right.
And this was in the 70s. So they stayed with us the whole time until my mother had the operation and she recuperated, and they stayed even longer. And I remember, you know, they stayed with me and my father. And that's the time when I got to know them really good. Because I've been to Ohio and got to know them when I was younger, but like even at that age, you know, and it was a bittersweet time for me because it wasn't a time where, you know, every night I cried myself to sleep. I didn't want nobody to know.
Right.
I don't want to stress my father, but my father loved my mother because I remember hearing him cry, as tough as he was. I remember him crying a little bit before he went to sleep.
Right.
I wanted to hug him, but I didn't want him to know that I knew he was crying, so I didn't go in there. You see what I mean? So there are a lot of realities that I had to go through where it wasn't where, oh, I was hungry and I was on the street and I had to raise myself. That's why I say my stuff was always emotional.
Right.
Because I had to go to bed every night and wonder, even after the operation, I'm thinking like she can still transition. Nobody at 14 years old wants to really understand and embrace that. And then right before the operation, that sense of urgency when my mother's aunt made her go, I'm thinking, oh, I hope this thing doesn't spread. So then that's another reason why I would stay up at night, so nobody could see me cry. And that's when the artwork got more special to me, because I'd lock myself in my room and draw. My father bought me this bench and I'd lift weights and I'd play my music, and then I would retain everything more. I always did, but that made me more like appreciate life. Like I would look at my mother after that and I couldn't stop looking at her. I'd look at my father. I'd look at the people I love like they might not be here.
Absorb them. Yes.
So this is why when I get around people on the fun tip, I can imitate them, because I'm downloading them faster and more than most people because they take them for granted usually.
True.
See? So that was really hard for me at that time.
Wow.
You know, so it was more girlfriends for more comfort.
I know.
Not predatory, but
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to still love them, and I love all the women I ever saw, and they were comforting to me. Not that they knew exactly what I was going through all the time, but it was that exchange. It was more tender, more loving. It's only when I got older that it got to be where they knew what I could do with them that way and kind of use me that way. But for me, it was always based on emotion and love and, you know, tell me you love me. Or I would never say that. I'm just saying, like, you know, that's what I wanted to hear.
Right.
I didn't care if you got on your knees to do something. I really wanted to feel love like that from a woman. And because I had the emotional, like, loneliness like that, going through that thing, it's not like, well, I'm going to call the guys that I play softball with and they can comfort me. I don't want to be bothered with that. You know what I mean? So in my meditations, you know, it taught me a whole lot.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly, Linda. I didn't see the chat room because I was kind of zoning out, looking away from it because, you know, I've been fighting back tears a little bit. But
I know.
You had to be extra bad, to get into Juilliard. You had to be extra bad to stay there and then graduate on a high level.
Right.
My mother was bad, y'all. Not because it was my mother, but because she made the misjudgment of letting this man who was a detective and legit and, you know, had the slick talk and everything into her life and had a son that he took care of financially, but never the other way. She was shamed a lot because she was supposed to be this person that was subsidized by her aunt and uncle for the mission of not to be famous, but go out there and knock them out because you got talent and whatever. And what? Nobody shamed her, but it was like, I could imagine. And she took it upon herself to say, you know what? I'm going to take this on the chin. I'm going to raise it myself. And I may not be able to pursue this. If that didn't happen, I'm telling you, her name would be a household name in the entertainment world and beyond, because all the people that were around her would tell her not to give up, not that she wanted to quit, but just like, you know, because her first name was Ocie, O-C-I-E, Ocie Mae Johnson, M-A-E Johnson, right? I mean, we know a lot of us going to have them names coming up in the South. But all the people who went on to be superstars were like, I pale in comparison to the skills you got. I'm like, wow. But, you know, I'm taking it for granted because she cooking me breakfast and singing like that.
Right, exactly.
I'm a little boy and she's drawing the bathtub and she's singing these dope songs that really in the Black community at that time they couldn't appreciate because it may have been in a different language, but her voice, if I could only have a recording of her voice, you can sit in the back row of a hall. Because as a group, she was in different groups and she was in Carnegie Hall, Cammie Hall. Cammie Hall is like the bootleg Carnegie Hall, but Cammie Hall was still up there, right? And she didn't use no microphone.
Right.
She would get up there like Mike Tyson came with black shorts, black shoes with no socks and a towel. She'd come up there bare and pull it up from a diaphragm. See, I know a lot about singing because I would go with her to these rehearsals and see how they worked. And I see how sometimes a lot of people, I'm not knocking them, who may not have the abilities to study another language, to know how to pronounce the words when you're singing it, who didn't do the diaphragm exercises for hours on end. It was boring sometimes with a little boy, but I'm drawing my little pictures and hanging out with other little boys who were there. And up, and they have to do it for the diaphragm. And I'm like, why are they doing this? It was working out for the voice.
Yes.
But you don't sing from your voice. That's what these young people and older people who just scream out their voice in the studio, and the studio adds the extra dimension to their voice.
Right.
But are you bad enough to not scream out your throat and bring power from your diaphragm to project to the back row? Because the back row getting it, everybody else getting it. That's something I know. And fill up that place with a sound reverberating.
Oh my God.
And make people hear it in their ear. that they've been dazzled at the power of the voice. That's not coming through the throat. That ain't singing, but you can't sing to people. So when you have someone who has talent and the muscle to do so, to understand what real talent is, a lot of these people just don't know. They hear something on the radio. You understand? Let me tell you something. I can't sing worth a lick. That jumped my generation. I can pull my ass off, though. I can do other things. But growing up, seeing her on stage with the stage presence and knowing how to. So when I got into bodybuilding, the stage was easy for me. It was a different endeavor. You see what I mean?
Right.
So, and I'm not making this about me. We done left off the topic. I'm just,
That's okay. Everybody listen, ain't nobody left the chat. I mean, everybody is still here vibing with you. That's fine. It's Friday.
So now in my meditations, like I say, I know I'm the person to bridge the gap.
Right.
To let my children know what we come from.
Exactly.
Not riding off the accomplishments of my mother and my father, but to know what we come from. When you do know, not because of worldly fame or a worldly status, which, yes, you had a cousin who was on the cover of Jet, and I'm not going to put a name out there, but my niece is high in the entertainment world, which I don't like the entertainment world. Okay, y'all know that. So I ain't bragging on that. See? But as a Black woman, I'll just say this, she's the top lawyer, the biggest top lawyer, entertainment lawyer. And that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, well, I mean, come on.
That's my brother's daughter. My brother who's on drugs. See, so he had brilliance, but he didn't do nothing. My niece did. But because of the atmosphere of that world, we know that we'll never be able to, and we talked about that, she'll never be able to come onto the show.
Right.
Because there's things involved in that world that we all know about. See? So, and she's so beautiful. You saw pictures of her. Yeah, articles on and everything like that. Within the next 5 years, not that I'm saying it means anything, but she'll be on Oprah. That's how that world works, because at her age right now, she's got to be, oh God, what does she got to be? She's got to be, I was track, because I have to change the diapers, you know what I'm saying? So it's like she's a kid to me, Right. So I walk with this and all these memories and, the dreams that were realized, the things that weren't realized, the slight dysfunctions, the things you see as a child but internalize, and then you have your own things you have to deal with intensely. See, my thing again was emotions.
Right.
I never went to bed hungry. I never did without. But my battleground was just being very sensitive, and I'm glad for that. And I was raised to be that way. Because, like you say, it's like the shirt we made that you liked, that I said, I'm not crying, or these are not tears, I'm emotionally sweating.
Right, emotional sweat.
Emotional sweat.
Yeah.
See how life is, though? If I didn't talk about Archibald Sterling and the whole job, and I Googled it, and wait a second, that's my mother.
Yeah.
And she had to be just over.
Now somebody else will be pointing something else,
Exactly. So while she never made it to that level of world, whatever, I know what it is. And everybody in a circle, which those people, for the most part, have transitioned on. But I know through her, some wonderful unsung heroes that had talent out their ass. And so this is why I know how shallow the entertainment world is now. That growing up, not just because I went around that circle, but it was years I was around that. And of course, I had to have manners. I had to, and I swear this other picture that I'm looking at here is the same one I got in my album, let me pull this mic over here. I might have a double whammy today. Because, they arrange the people sometimes the same way. Because, the Hall Johnson Choir in 1950 is going to be a little different than the one in 55 because there's always members coming in, always members going out. But this one picture here really looks like, because a lot of people faded back there. But, when you're a kid and when you're an adult, I don't care what. You know your mama.
Of course.
It can be a faded stuff in the background or whatever. But you know your mama.
You know your mother.
See, I think I got another one. I got to pull this in close.
Is she?
Because all the people who were in the other photo, they're in this one too. And I see like a half a face. So I gotta pull this in close. Let me see if this is really her. And half her face is covered, but you know what? This is her again. I found another one. Let me drop this link. This is weird. This day is, I'm not saying the day is weird, but it's like, it's different for me. Because I'm telling all my business. So I owe everybody here a check because of the therapy that they've been giving me. Let me see. There are all kind of things just popping up. Let me see if y'all could, she's again on the left-hand side, covered by the person who, I think it's what you call it? The conductor.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
To the left. But she's making a face because she's singing, so. But that it was so small, I had to pull it in close.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go back. See, I'm going back for a third one now. Who knows? Let's just keep going. You don't know.
Let's see.
Because people are now.
Oh yeah.
Okay, now I pulled up a Hall Johnson Choir from 1930. She is not in that one.
Oh, definitely not.
There's another one that looks very familiar.
That's her.
Yeah. There's another one that looks very familiar here. But I'll take most of the time, but that one there, that first one, that's my mama. And I'm telling you, the way it wasn't just a singing thing, the emotion.
Yes.
I was a little boy watching her sing after hearing the same song a gazillion times. And I'm going to tell you again, I found another one, y'all. The one in Brussels.
Oh, wow.
I found it. Oh, this is a good day for me. And this is the photo that I have. So it's not shocking me as much. I'll retitle it and everything, but I found it again. This is the one, and she's right in there. You'll see, you up in her face good. And what I didn't like about this photo as a little boy was the guy who's on the right-hand side. He was giving her the side eye, like, I like you type thing. And I always said, Mommy, I'm gonna find that man, I'm gonna beat him up. I don't want him as no daddy. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh. You're crazy.
Okay, let me pull this up. Oh man, did I lose it? It's right here. Okay, I'm not even thinking right now. I'm like, how do I get this into the room? Yeah, wait a second. I'm all screwed up here. Excuse me, y'all. Okay, let me go back.
Oh, this is some Friday.
I know. This might be a 10-hour show. I'll never leave this place. I'll just keep on. I found 3 photos of my mother. One I have in the album already. And they're charging for this. Okay, I think you can click on this thing because it's like, these are things you can buy. Because it's history.
Right.
Here it is again. This is the one I grew up seeing. That was always in, and there was pictures of her from like 19, 20 years old, studio pictures. Yeah. There were studio photos that they did everything right by her, like to be in this world. And man, and I'm not saying it from some twisted way, but she was really the cheekbones, the face, and the emotion. Just you saw her essence. It's something that radiated out of her. When she sung, it was a song that every time she sung it, I would cry. Because she would always put an extra dose of emotion in it. The name was Somewhere. Somewhere.
I know. Yeah. I love that song. There's a place for us.
Somewhere. Yeah. I had to go. And she'd say, even like in rehearsals where they dress rehearsals and stuff, and she would just go into this different zone and sing. And she said, Lance, how come every time halfway through the song you got up and go to the bathroom? I never told her until years later. And I told her,
Oh, wow.
And
okay, so where we?
Okay, yeah, let me just, I put it in there and I just totally forgot to tell you where to go. Let me find it. She is, okay, the fourth person standing from the right. There were three guys.
Hold on.
Yeah, in the Black American Choirs.
Yeah, but this says, hold on a second, 1926 to 1931.
No, that's a lie. That's my mother. That's I think it's 51, and that's in Brussels. Now, I know this photo because I have this actual photo in my album, and actually it's on the site somewhere on the server.
Okay.
But it's not as perfect as this one. So I don't know what they talking about. Okay. The reason why they put it there, like on the bottom it says Hall Johnson Negro Choir. On the bottom, they put that there, but that was not no 1931 because, my mother was born in 1930. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that couldn't be.
And where is she?
Oh, she's right there. Okay, where it says Black American Choirs. Look at the people standing. Go all the way to the right. You see the guy I wanted to beat up that's giving it a side eye.
Okay. She's the one in the light color coat?
Yes, that's her. That's my mother.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that hairstyle.
Yeah. That's the early 50s. That's like 51, I think. She was 21 years old. Yeah. Couldn't be 22. She had to be 21.
Okay.
And they wrote about it, but a lot of people they're getting that the timeline messed up, because they don't know. A lot of people archiving these photos, and they, slap all the niggers together. They're just all one thing. You know what I mean? So, but they're making you buy that, but I'm going to have to righteously snatch this because I know how to do that. Don't tell anybody. I beat the system, but that photo I have myself. I have, that's the document record store.
Right.
That's crazy. So, because I'm looking for some newspapers that I've been in, and I know the magazines I've been in through bodybuilding and stuff, but there's that Harlem Week thing there when I did the thing with the 2 Tons of Fun, the Weather Girls.
Yeah.
And that was in the City Sun, but they discontinued that. But I know they have it archived somewhere,
Right.
News programs and the credits going up and stuff. I've been on those a couple of times and stuff like that. So, that was never really a shock to me because I grew up around that. You know what I mean? Like a different level. So I don't want to bore nobody, but thanks for bearing with me, holding back tears and finding pictures of my mother and getting sentimental. And I'm not rushing. We here. I'm home. We've been on here for 2 hours and 52 minutes.
I'm
and I know some of these conversation later on will be like, they're like, we didn't come here to hear about your mother, damn it. Shut up. The people are sensitive. We did the amount of time on a show, so this is just extra. It's the kind of conversation me and you would have over the phone, and we're sharing it with everybody.
Right, exactly. I mean? So they get a peek.
Yeah. The dude on the right-hand side, he was giving it like the side eye, like I'm checking you out type thing, So yeah. It's weird because either they say, man, you look just like your father, or man, you look just like your mother. And they didn't look alike, but it's aspects of the both, depending on what mood I was in, that certain things would shine through. But for the most part, most people say, man, you look just like your mother.
You do.
And there were people who, after she passed away.
You look exactly like her.
Yeah. That's I agree. Put it this way.
Slap some hair on you, you'll be your mother.
I know, right? Yeah, but she was very exceptional. I'd have to find. There's got to be, because there were so many recordings. But when you're doing something, you don't really like. I got to hold all these recordings. They're out there. They're out there, and she did a lot of solos with these groups.
Right.
They're archived. Look how they archived the photos, and they weren't there 3 years ago.
Right.
They weren't there
last year. I mean, we looked.
Yeah, we looked. Yeah. So check it out. One day they're gonna do a documentary on the Hall Johnson Choir, and they're gonna have my mother in there singing. I might be 90 years old. Oh, there, my mommy. I'm coming to see you soon, mommy. Like
Stop
Fox.
it.
No, I know. Slap some hair on there, right?
Yes.
No, seriously, you would really, even if you didn't know who she was to me, and you heard her, you'd be like Beatrice Noel says, what the? Something that got in your bones when you heard her.
Yes.
And she wasn't looking at you like to say, oh, do you hear my voice? She would a lot of time close her eyes and the hand movements, and she wasn't trying to belt it out to be loud, but it would shrill go in you. It would you couldn't not feel it. Oh man, everybody who I remember them coming up to her after a performance, and they were like, my God, I have to know, could you come to our church and sing? That's how I got to be in a lot of churches. Because even especially my aunt was such a fan of yours, and she loved your voice, and please, could you come and sing at a funeral? And she'd go, and
right.
They say we don't have much, and it's like, no, it's okay. I'm not asking for anything.
Right.
And then at times when she'd go and somebody would hand her an envelope, and she'd come home and help somebody who didn't have their lights on or something. These are things I saw. You know what I mean? So it really, the way the world is now.
Yes.
There's so much love that we don't have anymore. Because I remember the real Black community. Regardless if it was a church.
Yep.
The churches had more love back then.
Yeah.
And I've seen guys who are in the Nation of Islam hold the door for church ladies who are going to the white Jesus, but they loved each other as a Black community.
Yes, they
That's
did.
why I'm so hurt now about what I see.
Yes, indeed.
It seriously hurts me.
Yes, indeed.
That's why I have to talk about the way things used to be and do something to try to bring it back. I don't give a fuck about no money, man.
Exactly.
It helps to buy a computer and do different things. But I'm not happy the way things are now.
I know.
And I'm in Africa. I don't see as much American brothers and sisters no more. And I miss what I grew up in. But my heart is still there. And that's why I do what I do. If I can tell a joke or tell a story or something and shine that light that was shined on me, I was blessed a lot.
Exactly.
I'm not selfish, but like some people say, well, I don't have to do this. I got a lot of things I can just replay in my head and have a good damn time to myself. Just people don't know that, man. And the kids don't know that. And life is too short. So why are we wasting time being jealous over each other, trying to get status over the next person, or want to buy the bigger car than your neighbor because you jealous because they bought the car? Or I don't understand that.
Yes.
Why don't we love each other anymore? I've been hurt. And
well, we love you, Brother Lance. So I mean, everybody here loves
even the people who don't even show their face or in the chat room, they're just listening.
Everybody here loves you. Yep.
This is not about a talk show. Because we've talked, and most of the time we talk, I always break out with some kind of tears. I ain't doing this to be no tearjerker. But I ain't holding it back. I'm a man and I'm strong and I'm tough.
I am not going to cry. I am not going to cry. I'm not going to cry.
I'll cry before you.
I'm not going to cry. Don't make me cry. I'm not crying.
You know what, though? There's not a day that goes by where my heart don't yearn for those days. And I know I can't go back, but my question is, why can't we have it now?
I don't know.
Look what happened to us.
Mm-hmm.
How we lost ourselves. That really bothers me because I know sweet times. I was a little boy watching grown-ups that had issues too. We had issues back in those days. We had issues back in those days as a people. But we so damn retarded now.
Mm-hmm.
We lost our minds. What the hell are we doing?
I know.
And from where I see it, because see, I have a long memory. So single digit ages, I remember. Think back in the 60s. You know, cars that are 10 years old even now are not strange to see.
Mm-hmm.
So most of the cars that I saw had wings. You know, the fins.
Yes.
And they were polished and looking new. That's what I used to see. I'm used to seeing that.
Mm-hmm.
That's my time. That's my subconscious. That's my root. That's where I came from.
Mm-hmm.
Most people born at that 1963 point can't remember that. I was with my father. They were together, but when he did his jobs, I'm all up in Harlem, all up in Washington Heights.
Right.
No Final Call newspaper. It was Muhammad Speaks.
I remember that.
Remember?
Yes.
I remember the original Ebony magazine. Look at the one that's around, Sepia magazine. Sepia was dope. Sepia was better than Ebony. I remember the old Jet magazine before it got politically correct, when they would show things with racism and you'd open up and see a man who had his head chopped off in there because they were bold. Now, Jet magazine and Ebony magazine are owned by white folks. What the hell is wrong with us? We can take up a collection plate and give billions and millions to these pastors.
Take your history
back. We can't save our own institution. So somebody else has hijacked it and can control it and control our history. Look at these photos. My mother's in there, but I would have to pay to get that thing, to get a photo of my own mother. But I have the original. I have the original.
Yes,
of
indeed.
That photo.
Yes, indeed.
I'm going to find it with all the little crinkles and wrinkles in it.
Nobody can take that from you.
But now they control the narrative and can change it. And whether a person knows my mother or not, but whoever it was in their history and their lineage that they need to preserve, that's why I want to please everybody. If you know somebody who's up in years, they didn't have to be famous. I want to get them on and talk to them. They might be tired after 10 minutes of talking. They may be slipping a little bit, you know, when we get a little older, but we need to preserve those memories. And they may say, oh, I ain't got nothing to talk about. Tell us how it was growing up for you. Drop names and drop different things, because if I didn't have these names in my head, if I didn't know about a Hall Johnson, I wouldn't be able to pull up the photos that got my mother. And there's other people who got albums that I don't know. You know, that may have audio. There's audio out there.
Right.
So I got to walk with this stuff inside of me, knowing that the stuff I got inside of me is real. It ain't no Illuminati shit. It ain't no fabricated, you're going to be a star for 6 months type shit. Excuse my language. This stuff today does not compare to the class and the presence and the majesty of how I saw Black women walk down the street. They had prostitutes. And even they would try to cover themselves up in the presence of a man they knew was really decent.
Yes, they did.
And there were areas where they did their thing that unless you were into that, you weren't going over there. So they cut loose. I saw those things, man. Over there by 125th Street, the Cotton Club.
Synovia, you're reminiscing. Yes.
Sun rooftop.
That's Mr. Political.
That's Mr. Political theme song. You see what I mean?
Yes.
But our lineage, because if we don't know where we came from, we don't know where we're going. I know they said that before me, but it's the truth. Our trajectory. See, I know if I'm 58 years old, it's not about the age, but you know, you go back 56, 54, 50. So I know to go back to 10, 8, 6, and 4. It's a rhythm. It's where did you come from? Where did you, who are you? And it's not even for those who may not have had forebearers who were known like that, where you can Google them and they just worked a job at a warehouse and they passed away. They are no less because they brought you this far. Even if they didn't do you right, they brought you into this world.
Yes.
And there were others who filled in.
Yes.
Celebrate the ones that brought you to where you are now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Celebrate them. Love them. Bring up their memory. Call their name. They're your ancestors. We get into this, I want to go back to Africa stuff, and we talk about the ancestors.
No, we're not even dealing with who we have in front of us.
And I'm telling you, those very people who many of you know who talk about the ancestors, those bastards don't even want to talk to their damn father.
Exactly.
The father ain't do a damn thing to them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Years go by, they don't talk to their mother. And those are the ancestors that touch you and you know them.
Mm-hmm.
But they come on YouTube in front. Righteous imagery and all this stuff and talk that stuff. And I know my ancestors. And I know my community.
Indigo King, thank you so much, my brother. Thank you. Much love to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're touching hearts, Brother Lance. You're touching hearts.
You know, I didn't know I was going to talk like this today.
I didn't know you were going to talk like this today. I thought we were going to talk about filthy people.
Yeah, I know, right? Right, funky people, right? The picture tripped me off, though. We looked at, we started talking about lineage, and then we started talking about, I showed the page on the site about bloodline and Colin Powell and, Scurving, Archibald Scurving. And then I pulled up the picture hole and saw my mother, and that was it. And if I wasn't on the show, we'd be talking, and it'll be the same thing. I'd probably just cry a little more.
I know.
But, like I said, I represent, and we all represent people that are not here anymore. We talk about the ancestors, but they're looking at us right now because we have the baton in our hand. And while we have the baton in our hand, we have to run the hardest race that we can. We're not racing against anybody, but we're racing against not wasting any time and shining out to our people.
Yes.
And our brilliance. So if all you know how to do is sweep the floor the best. If all you know how to do in the kitchen is to make an omelet or fry eggs, do that the best.
Be the best egg fryer, omelet maker.
I was walking today out there. I was tired. I only probably got an hour and a half worth of sleep. But as I was walking, I made sure my stride was strong. That when you look at me, not no physical thing, but I'm glad to be alive. I'm glad to have the baton in my hand. I'm glad to come home to do a live show because our speculation was that I may not get back in time. And I said, nothing's going to stop me from coming here and doing this live. We could have recorded something and put it up, but I said, we're going to chill. And since we do this Monday to Friday, I don't mind throwing some bonus beats on the Friday. I'm tired. I'm going to end it soon, but we're going to talk a little more. But that's how things roll. That's right. And maybe we need to be in this mood right now the way we are. But like I said, you represent all those that came behind you or before you, and we honor them, but we got to honor them by the way we do the damn thing right now.
Exactly.
If you're a boxer and you come from a fighting family, a lineage of fighters who drop blood to teach you what you know right now, man, you go in there and you knock the damn opponent out and you show them your footwork, you show them your head movement, you show them your speed, you show them your techniques, and you shine in everything you do, no matter what it is. When I was in America and signed on a credit card or signed when I paid for something and it's a little white racist girl in front of me, I would my name so damn bad that even though she was racist, she said, "Sir, I have to say I never saw anybody sign their name so beautifully." And she was thinking at first, what's this nigga gonna do? Put an X? He can't write. I would speak to her empowered, knowing what she had. I said, that's the way my mother and father taught me to write.
That's right.
And they knew there was something more to me. And then you see that same racist girl who wasn't making that much money, but she still felt as though she was above you. And she said, "Sir, can I say something to you? I didn't know." I'm like, "What you talking about?"
You know?
My friend is a fan of yours and she loves your artwork. And I just can't believe how detailed it is. That's why you write that way. I said, "Yes, that's what I do. And I've been doing it for a while. And See, she learned a lesson.
Yes.
I'm not here just to teach white people lessons. She just happened to learn a lesson. I'm here to groove with my people. But, you know, you will teach lessons from your prison shining.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I've been in situations where I can hate white people for the next 5 lifetimes, and you'd understand why.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
But I learned to turn my energy where it's about our excellence and yeah, on these rants that comes out. You step on my toe the wrong way, it's gonna come out.
Mm-hmm. I know.
I ain't saying I'm loving them like that because I'm taking my love to love my people who need it. We need healing. Why can't we feel like we're home wherever we go on the planet when we're around each other? Why we got to start? Well, are you you're not African? Are you indigenous? And
listen.
And you're African descendant of so and so, and we all catching the same hell.
Mm-hmm.
The hell's wrong with us? It didn't matter up in Harlem back in them days in the 60s and the 70s that I saw in my eyes. My father was straight from Jamaica, but he's a black man and a black African man, and always let me know that. And all of us knew that because that was a time of that. The flavor of the civil rights movement, which I don't like calling it civil rights. It's a human thing. Right. And it was an uprising in consciousness that all the conversations that I heard in the barbershops, in the streets in those eras were all righteous. Yes, there were women with nice asses back then. And some of the men would pause and peek at me to make sure I didn't hear. And they would never call her out her name. They showed her respect.
Yes.
Yes, I saw it. Be real. I'm a man. I like women's booties. But I ain't going to disrespect you.
That's right.
I like titties, but I'm not going to disrespect you. We know what lips can do, and I ain't going to go there, but I'm not going to disrespect you because I love you on a deeper level beyond that.
Exactly.
That's surface, y'all.
That's right.
When my mother died and a woman would come to me that I know for long, and she might have been beautiful, and she held me in her arms, and she says, you know, Lance is going to be all right. And my face was in her bosoms. I wasn't thinking about nothing sexual. I felt the comfort and the love coming from her. Women can do so much for us as men.
That's true. That's what we have to get back to.
That's not all you're here for. When I say, I'm not saying it's sexist. Like, yeah, you can do so much for me because we can do so much for you. But if we take our mind out the damn gutter sometime, I love sex. I don't do drugs. Sex is good, but there's more to a woman than sex.
Right.
I ain't gonna say like, you know, within 24 hours, maybe I might have an orgasm. You know what I mean? What about your heart?
Yes.
What about your heart? What about seeing the real beauty? I'm an artist, man. I look past that. Look how beautiful my mother was and is. I ain't looking at it that way. But she gave me so much love.
Yes.
Oh, man. She gave me so much that my doggy bag of love can feed the world 5 times over.
Yes.
So when I get angry righteously. I just want to see us come back to what we were and what we're supposed to be.
Indeed.
This is all I think about. This is all I think about. And I'm going to go deeper into another show where we start out from where we are right now. Like the mood we in now, we're going to start out and I'm going to take y'all deeper.
Wow.
I ain't gonna do that no more.
Are we ready to handle that, guys? I know I am.
Love, I'm going to show you some black love.
Ooh.
I'm going to take you on a trip to a different world that many of you who may be younger didn't know and didn't see. That the TV shows and the old movies where they recreate the cars and the buildings and clothes, they can't give you that.
Yes.
I was there.
Yes.
And we're going to go deep. I'm going to zone out. I'm not even going to look at the chat room. I'm going to just talk. Remember that night I got up about 4 a.m. and I recorded something for 30 minutes and I was like talking real fast?
I remember that.
Where did it come from? Because about 30 minutes before that, I was like, oh, I'm tired. I'm going to bed. I got up to pee and I saw the mic. Something said, sit down by the mic and just talk out your head. And I did. And it came out the way it came out. And you were like, I wish you could have done more that way. That's how my brain works. I got so much locked up in this thing.
Every so often you hit one of those rants that it's just like, who the hell is this? And where can I find one like him?
Yeah.
No, I'm just
I know what you mean. No, I said yeah, because my mind, I was saying yeah to you said about a minute ago. It was delayed reaction. So it wasn't like, but say that again now. Wait. My mind is gone. I'm gonna play it back. What is it, like the 313 mark? I'm gonna play it back. I'm gonna get you anyway, but that's what I was like. I didn't say yeah, like that's what you said. That was like a delayed reaction. That's what it was. Like I say, my mind is on 5 or 6 tracks.
That's okay. You'll have to play it back.
I'll play it back too. Trust me. I'm gonna play it back.
Oh
real.
gosh, but
For real.
I
For
tell
real.
you, this was. Listen, stop it.
And I'm gonna record when I call you back on it and play it. I'm like, I heard you, and this is my answer. It might be like a 60-second video, right? Go back and play it and see what you said.
Oh
real.
gosh, for real. But oh gosh, this was amazing. This was amazing.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap it down now because I know folks got things to do.
Yeah, we got things to do. I just
want to thank everybody for real, for being here with me while I kind of look back on a lot of things and felt a lot of things. Yeah, zoned out. No, for real. I was talking out my head. I really at some points didn't know what I was saying.
That's
Seriously.
all right. That's all right. We got the message.
Listen,
Brother Lance.
No.
Listen, there is 120 people in the chat right now. People are still coming in. Some have left. People are still coming in,
Sure.
which tells us that nobody was in a hurry to leave. Nobody was in a hurry to say, oh, we got to go. This is too much, except for the one fool, talk about get to the point. Well, she came in too late because we got to the point when we started the show. And we don't go in a straight line.
I mean, there's always somebody who doesn't really know. Like, and anybody who knows this or part of the family to say, well, kind of fill me in on what it is. And it's no problem.
This is how we do.
Exactly.
We go in a circle.
Because you know what? Growing up, somebody spent time with me. Yeah. I mean, my parents and just people in the community, they spent time. There was no clock. We didn't live by the clock.
Right.
You had to be brought to a certain feeling.
Yes.
Like, what's the candy? They say, how many licks does it take to get to the center of some lollipop or something like that?
Tootsie Roll.
Nobody says, well, tonight when we have sex and I get in the missionary position, I'm going to stroke 352 times and have an orgasm be done. You don't know. When you wake up in the morning time, you don't say, well, exactly 4:02 this afternoon, I'm going to have to take a massive dump. You don't know. Your body tells you.
Right.
So live life like that.
Right.
You don't know, but you know it's coming. So just lay back and just relax and enjoy the ride and affect people in a positive way. And really make a point to do that, to affect somebody in a positive way.
That's right.
Whether it's nonverbal, don't have to be a speech or a long YouTube video live stream. It could be you buy a book for someone and write a message and then give it to them. And they may not read it for 3 years, but it's something, there's different ways to affect people. And I look for those ways.
Mm-hmm.
Very powerful, very, very, very simple and effective. You can make a difference in so many people's lives that you don't know how you did. And when my mother transitioned, there were so many people that she knew all over the world that I couldn't get to everybody. I didn't know everybody.
Right.
And my brother had stole the book that she had all the addresses in and tried to gank all of them for money before she passed. So I was really at a disadvantage.
Wow. Isn't that
Stories
terrible?
that came to me, mailed to me, and I'll wrap it up on this about how my mother gave of herself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, well, how did she do this? And always made sure I had something to eat when I was young and took care of the house. And how she did this?
Mm-hmm.
People whose daughters may have been on drugs and she counseled them and took time to keep coming back and, spend money on them and take time to, just be that friend. A lot of people like that. But you know what's sad? Her own son was out there. You see?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that really hurt her.
Yes.
When she realized that you know, because it was at a time after she had her first stroke, and it was stressing over that. It was stressing over that.
Mm-hmm.
I saw her upright last. She said, Lance, I'm sorry. And I said, sorry for what? She said, you shouldn't have to deal with all the stress and the bills and the different stuff. You shouldn't have to.
Miss T Versation. Thank you, darling.
Oh, Miss T Versation, thank you so much. Thank you. I'm so choked up. I'm gonna get out of here soon. You know what I mean? So thank you. I don't know how to say thank you in so many different ways, but I love you all, and I love you, Miss T Versation. I love everybody here. Let's just wrap it up on a love tip.
Yeah.
I just love all of you all, and I'm glad that, you know, we're all gonna not be here sometime on this level, but we're all connected. And that's what I saw week after week when my mother would go to rehearsals, my father would go to his different jobs with clients, like I told you about John Stonehill and how he helped out to help us get the house. Not that we were destitute, but he had money, but that was a white man who was close to my father and wanted to do something for him. And he was at my father's memorial service, and, you know, he wasn't no guilt, white oppressor cry.
Right.
The man really was hurt when my father transitioned, him and his wife.
Right.
And there's so many stories I can tell, and there's so many stories I will tell. And I want to vibe this way. So while I'm talking about white supremacy and things that are injustices, there's a lot of love in my heart, a lot of memories, and a lot of stories I can say on a human level that will touch the heart. Yes. And I'm going to tell those stories. So, and I'm just happy. Thank you. Because one of my fears when I was younger was that my father was a little older than most fathers. You know, when he passed away, I was 27 years old, and he was 74, but he was well kept.
Right.
For the last few years with the Alzheimer's and diabetes, right? And my mother, you know, she was crushed, you know, and she lasted 4 more years. And she passed away at 64. 64, man. And my brother's still out there doing drugs and still out there running around doing his thing. So that's why I always talk about how old I am, and I'm determined, you know, if that's the Creator's plan, to, you know, where's this other phone ringing that I don't know why folks are ringing me like this right now. I can't even see or whatever, you know, it's just gonna have to be that way. Not during a show, y'all. You know, not like that. Not on the other phone, you know. But my thing is that
move the phone away from.
Wait, that's what happened. That's what happened. Yeah, that's what happened. So I forgot my point. But what I'm saying is that at the end of the day,
about your mother and your brother.
Yeah. So this is why, for me, I'm the bridge from that generation to the generation that is behind me in the form of my children. And I have to take care of myself, and I have to retain these things. And like I've told you before, many other people, this is one of the reasons why I do YouTube. They're much younger than I am, of course. But when they get to the age of 40 and 45 and 50, and their eyes open up more with life. Yes. If I happen to not be here, they can know me at this age.
Right.
I wouldn't be just a faded photo. They'll know me in essence through this medium and other mediums and writing and stuff, that they will know me well out of my mouth on what I say. And that's why I name drop and throw history and things that they can Google later on.
That's right.
So this is more than just, oh, you're just trying to be on YouTube and do. There's driving forces in me that people don't know about, things that have affected me.
Right.
And why I do what I do, and why I want to do it a certain way, and why there's a unconditional love for my people and for those who vibe and wish us the best and really have it in their hearts that really love us. Even if on the other side there's not much of that. Let my life be a teachable moment, and let it be something that affects everybody, but I'm not going to compromise on what I've been through.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. So you can call it hate speech all you want. You just want to be like that dude that raped that girl. You thought she was dead, but now you see her alive. Now you saw a ghost, but she gonna tell what you did.
Exactly.
I'm not going to lie about nothing. I just been through a lot, but I'm going to tell it like it is. So if YouTube bans me and wants to get rid of me, fine. I'm going to resurface somewhere else. But we always have LanceScurv.com. And I swear I'm not going to ever disappoint those who came before me. I have a lot of stories to tell about people who are not here. I said that before. So now you are their representative. And this is everybody in the room. There are people that nobody knows that you knew. You may have friends. Remember so-and-so? But as you get older and your social circle gets smaller, it's important that you share their energy, whether it's a funny story or a sad story or a tragic story or just a lesson that they will learn from you conveying this. So this is why I get animated and I have the ability to absorb and imitate people. So this is why when I do the comedy shows or just other stuff, not because I want to be seen, but I'm going to channel their energy, make you feel it. And let's have a good old time where we show some love, we shed a few tears, we hug each other, and we affect each other. And the main thing I want to say, and I'm going to go after this, we're going to go in 2 minutes. You'll never feel alone. You're never alone. Even when there's nobody around you, if you hold on when you're going through stuff. Because there were times in my life I felt so alone. After my parents transitioned in a prior really bad relationship that was really sucking my soul out. And there were times I look up at the sky and say, what did I do? Did I have too much fun when I was younger or something? What did I do? I broke a heart or two. Yeah, I did. Not on purpose, but it happened. But nothing this bad. But you realize when you're going through the rough times, it's getting you ready to either be an example for somebody else to show them how to get in and out and navigate things, or just be that example to make you stronger for something else coming down the pike, right? Because the things that used to make you scared years ago don't scare you, but you don't want to, it may be uncomfortable to think I'm going to go through this again, but it don't scare you like it did the first time. You see what I mean?
Right.
I used to go to funerals and see people. I couldn't understand what was going on. And I'm thinking like, they say we all gonna go that way. So I'm young and feeling invincible. And I'm like, you can say, I ain't going out like that. I mean, I never really thought that, but you push it to the back of your mind because I'm 17. I got my life ahead of me. And then you find that a friend of yours who's also 17 got killed in a car accident. So it's like, whoa. We all can end up that way.
Yeah.
All can end up that way.
Yeah.
So then that changes your perspective on life. So the arrogance that I see with the younger generation now, like, you old and we gonna always be, they don't think that. That's why I'm like that little kid. My name is Lance and I'm 3 years old. So here I'm at 58. My name is Lance and I'm 58 years old. I got further than a lot of people, and I'm appreciative of being afforded to be here on this day. As corny as it may seem, I heard my mother and father get a lot of those phone calls in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
And I myself get more of those phone calls, it seems like. And we know and we're reminded. So it's like, ooh, I might be tired today, but I got to do something that stamps in that I did something this day.
Right. Right.
It's not, tomorrow, one day. No, I got to do what I got to do now. We all need to have more of a sense of urgency in our lives because we don't know. But it's not about living and being in fear of that because that's coming. But because we are aware of that, it makes us appreciate now. See? So on that note, Empress Elegy, this is your show.
Is it?
Right?
This here Friday show is not mine.
It's almost like you're the legitimate businessman that has good credit and has all the stuff, but I'm the drug dealer who opened up the store, but it's your name on it, but you hand me the money. It's the Empress Elegy show with the talkative LanceScurv who's going to talk 95% of the show.
Well, like I always say, you're my perpetual guest. So.
Yeah, you had shows like that where they talk shows on TV back in the 70s, and our guest tonight will be, and it's the same dude.
No. LanceScurv.
Listen, y'all, I'm gonna take a nap and we're gonna come back later on.
Yes,
we got the Nina show, of course, and we're gonna arrange when we're gonna have that show put up.
Yes,
And,
indeed. We love you guys. Yes, indeed. Brother Lance, thank you so much. You've given everyone a beautiful Friday. You know, this was wonderful. You shared your heart, and we love you for it. You know, yeah, can't wait for this show tonight. This is gonna be this is the show tonight is the antithesis of this here morning show. It's
the Mike Tyson moment.
I'm having a Mike Tyson because I can't pronounce my THs.
You said antithesis, but she's an antithesis. You know, that's Mike Tyson.
I know.
Words, but if you laugh, I'll hit somebody out here.
Exactly. Don't laugh. Don't laugh. I said it the best way I could. But anyways, have a good day, family. Enjoy. Thank you so much for being here. Brother Lance, thanks again. Much love to you.
Seriously, I can't thank you all enough. Seriously, that's all I can say. I'll talk. We'll do another little sentimental something later on. I'm in that mood. I'm gonna take a little nap right now. I'm gonna eat something, take a little nap. I'm gonna get up. You know what I have to do today for the next few days coming up, but we will be back on with the Danina show. And I don't know what time it's going to be, but I'm going to call her in a little while and find out when she wants to do it. And we will do it the way we wanted to do it. We can't, but we're still going to put it up as a premiere. But she will be there. We will be there in the chat room. And directly after, we're going to come on live and answer the questions and vibe and do what we do. But I tell you, it's a long show and it's jam-packed, and be ready for it. And all over social media, I will put it up that, on certain time it's going to be on. When I know, I'll put it up. So whether you're on Telegram or Instagram or Facebook or whatever, like I said, just be there. And Telegram, we'll definitely put it in there, and Instagram and stuff like that. I'm kind of leaning away from Facebook these days. I got a sour taste in my mouth with them, for real. And I'm going to let that page go. I'm going to let that page go. They got almost 5,000 people on it, and start a new one. Okay. Because it's being compromised big time.
Really?
And I'll talk to you about that in private. Now we'll make it public, but right now I'm going to talk to you about that in private. They all, the agents are all up in my stuff, and I don't care, but I'm going to keep it where they can't. How do they say? Can't touch this. Can't touch this. Anyway, no, that's a definite. The show is completed. It's sitting there like a movie that's completed and in the can. It's just a matter of putting it out. It is done. The banner, the show, tweaking, everything is finito, and I'm happy about that.
Yes, indeed.
Anyway, later on.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, indeed. Thank you. Thank you
Bye, so much. Yes. All right, y'all. Much love. Thank you.